It's about that time. Welcome to the Popcast Thursday afternoon show, and it is going to be a glorious day. We just saw episode 9 for the 15th time, and man, was it a banger. Before we go into that, I want to say thank you for being here today. Thank you for coming out to hang out with us and talk about Star Trek and other stuff and just laugh and cry and have some fun together. Shane, how you doing today, brother?
I am doing good. I was emotionally compromised last night. Had a hard time going to sleep, along with, I know, a lot of people out there who's just loving Picard season 3. Was a little surprised by a little bit of the hate I got back on this episode, which I'm sure we'll explore. But ultimately, super happy to be here with you guys on this Thursday. Yeah,
man. I know we're gonna get into it, but I gotta say, when I heard that voice.
Oh, spoilers. Okay.
Spoilers. I'm gonna stop until we get into that into the review. But when I heard that voice, voice.
Well, if you want, you go watch the episode, come right back. We just want to give the warning so nobody says, well, you didn't warn us. So
yeah, we're definitely talking spoilers here today. So if you haven't seen episode 9 of Star Trek Picard, I'd go watch that. Come on back. We're gonna be talking about a few things today. Of course, we're talking about Star Trek. Can't not. It's just what an amazing episode.
And I almost couldn't focus on anything else.
It was very difficult to focus on. And we have some other news topics too, but I feel like they're gonna have to wait until after we get everything out we have to get out about this episode. Remember, we saw this months and months and months ago, and we were waiting for an insanely long time to talk to you guys about this, particularly this episode.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it was funny. I put out a tweet earlier because I didn't quite know. I was really surprised how emotional I was after, and not just watching the episode. I mean, I've seen the episode, many, many times. I did rewatch the 5 minutes of this episode, the final 5 minutes of this episode, over and over and over again. After the show was over, I just kept rewinding it. But what really hit me hard in the heart was going on social media this morning and seeing a reflection of how I feel about this show in all of you, and your words and your shock and your love and the fact that you couldn't sleep and the way it was impacting you, seeing that mirrored to me. And I almost felt like, Brian, that like after all these months of knowing what was coming and not being able really to talk about it or share it with many people, seeing that reflected back made me feel like, okay, I wasn't crazy. This is amazing Star Trek, perhaps some of the best Star Trek we've ever had. So yeah, and it was so interesting because so many people over the last couple months kept asking, especially leading up to this, kept asking questions like, don't give it away, but, and like they would ask something like about the Enterprise D. Oh yeah.
Or the Borg or whatever. Well, and it was so difficult to answer without answering.
I think everybody forgot. I mean, you guys got to understand, LeVar Burton gave away the Enterprise D 7 months ago, 8 months ago.
Yeah,
he gave it away. Like if you were shocked and surprised to see the D in this episode, in this show at all, then you just didn't catch the news. And maybe that's a good thing. Like it disappeared, it went away,
right?
And people kind of forgot. And then all of a sudden you see it, and you're like, oh my God, we're back to the 90s, late 80s, 90s. So
yeah, it's funny. Really we actually had a video planned to talk about the Enterprise D as like a theory because of what he said. And then when we saw the series, we're like, well, now we can't make that video. So
yeah, we had so many great videos planned, but it's been worth it. This whole experience has been worth it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right.
How are you guys doing out there today, huh?
How's everyone doing? I'm seeing some amazing reactions in the chat. I'm assuming that some of you guys in the chat are not happy with the episode. So it's going to be an interesting day because we get to go. I would love to address, like, if you guys have, like, so here's the deal. If you have a legitimate like nitpick about it or a legitimate question or problem, and you want some light shed on it, hey, feel free to ask. But if you're just gonna like scream and yell about like Kurtzman Trek or whatever, we got nothing for you. You know,
we hear you can if you want. I mean,
you can scream and yell, but
yeah,
like I don't have an answer for you. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I have an answer for you, 100%. No, we support you screaming and yelling, and we have an answer for you. So go ahead and scream and yell about what frustrates you, and I'll tell you exactly why you didn't enjoy last episode or any of these episodes, because I think I know. I'll share it with you later.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've already said it. I've said it 20 times. You guys have heard it. You know what it is. But if you love TNG, you love this show. Period. If you love the characters, you love the show. If you're just like, yeah, TNG was great. Yeah, I watched it. It was cool. You may not connect with these characters, and you might be feeling that way. But if you love these characters, there's no way you're not like, you're not like a pig in shit today. Just happy as hell. There's no way.
Yeah, there are some of our friends that are hardcore Trek guys that haven't liked this season, but then they're not really TNG people either.
Right.
Like they're like TOS guys or like hardcore DS9. They don't never really watch TNG, so they don't really have a connection to these characters. And I get it. Like, you know, if this episode was all about Deep Space Nine, and you know, I watched Deep Space Nine, but I never had the connection to Deep Space Nine that some other people had. My connection was to TNG and Voyager and TOS. Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, I like those characters, but I wouldn't get as much out of it as I'm getting out of this season, for sure.
Yeah, I think the emotion wouldn't be quite the same. I mean, but it would have been cool. And listen, if you guys want to do DS9 next, you know, we're down.
Right, so, bro. Yeah, do it.
Go for it. And I know a lot of people are probably like mixed reactions over what happened to Shaw in this episode. And we're going to go into that, but you got to say if it has to go down the way it went down, that was a pretty amazing way for it to go down. Right.
Yeah, that was. Damn, that was hardcore. What a way to go, man. Defending
well, don't say it. Don't say
it. It's so hard. It's so hard.
Let's wait till we get there because it's so fun. Super chat from Kenneth LaRoque.
Whoa, $20. Kenneth, thank you, sir. You want to read it?
Sure. Before you say you hate this episode, wait until the 10th episode. They keep saying that 9 and 10 should be watched together. That is 100% true.
It's true.
If you feel, you know, and it was obviously left on a cliffhanger, so, you know, you feel that way about it, but you got to remember that 9 and 10 is one thing together. And I think the things that people are upset about are probably some of the elements of this thing and just the fact that the Borg are here at all. So we're going to explore that. But Kenneth, you're 100% right. Thank you so much.
From Jessica Tennis. Banger, think not. TNG crew take on Borg for the 67th time. Troy has to be the worst counselor. Jack did nothing wrong.
God, that was so terrible.
Let's isolate and imprison him.
I got to tell you that. And I get what you guys are saying, but there, you know, there's also, you know, humanity. There's also, you know, some real life. Yeah, we'll explore that anyways. But that's a good comment.
Yeah, I think their goal was like just keep him as far away from Frontier Day as possible.
Well, I think she got scared. She absolutely was fearful. And I thought that was interesting, the way they handled that. And I think we should talk about it as we get to the spot. But
yeah. Okay. All right. Before we go into the review, what else do you want to cover before we get in there?
Jesus, is there anything else to cover? Oh, so we did not get tickets to the IMAX thing, along with every other person who's been covering this. Nobody I know got tickets here in Los Angeles. Even members of the Picard season 3 team did not get tickets to the IMAX thing. They couldn't, and I don't know what it was. I tried the website for about an hour before they were supposed to go for sale at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. And I started about 9:30, and I was just like refreshing. And then until I would say probably 11, the website never worked. It kept pushing me to, Are You There, Margaret? It's Me, God. Movie that's coming up to see a screening for it. I'm like, no, I don't want this one. I'm trying to get Picard. So I never saw anything that would have let us get into it.
Yeah, I had tried too. And I tried with my insane gigabyte connection and my supercomputer, and Couldn't do it. I even had multiple browsers trying to click at the same time, and nada.
I mean, what does that tell you? It tells you that a lot of people wanted to go to this event. I mean, this show is way more popular. Let me tell you, when was the last time you remember this kind of buzz around Star Trek, period?
It's been a while, dude.
It's been so long. So.
Yeah, it's been a while. Foxhound, $1.99, Shaw will return. Loved the episode. Yeah, we have, and I can finally talk about this. Oh, we gotta see the review. But I have some theories. Finally, I can talk about theories on how Shaw returns. And I do believe that there is an easy answer for his return. I'm just saying.
And we've got some thoughts. We can also share with you some kind of behind the scenes thoughts from creatives on what they, why they killed him, perhaps. And would they have killed him if they know he was going to be so popular?
Yeah, but even some of my theories, I remember sharing my theories with them on how they could bring him back, and they didn't say no. All I'm saying is they didn't say no. They're like, yeah, it's a good idea. I'm like, oh.
Okay. And the reason why they didn't say that is because they realized, oh, crap. Maybe we shouldn't have killed this guy.
Yeah.
So bringing him back would be huge. They should absolutely bring Shaw back.
Yeah. Find a Southpaw for $1.99. Thank you, Southpaw. And Andre Benson, Battle at Wolf 359, the most horrific day in Starfleet history, 250th Frontier Day. Hold my beer.
Right.
So true.
Man, yeah, no doubt. I mean, did anybody see that coming? Nobody saw that coming. Even the people who were saying, "Oh, it's the Borg," there were people out there saying it was the Borg. They didn't see it coming like this.
Yeah. So I was gleaning. I was going out of my way to try to find all the theories. I was actually collecting the theories. My plan was, once I got a theory that was like 99% there, I was gonna talk about it on the show. Not a single person predicted this. They predicted a lot of people predicted Locutus. It was always Locutus this, Locutus that. No. A lot of people thought it was going to be somehow Locutus, or like Locutus's like nanoprobes or whatever, something like that. No one predicted the dilapidated Borg queen from First Contact, making her one last stand. Like,
no, I mean there were signs. Like the vines, obviously those were Borg connections. The tubes that run from that was what that was the whole time. It wasn't vines. And I got to be honest with you, the first time I watched, I'm like, what's up with these damn vines? And 12 Monkeys is what threw me off,
right?
Because he had all the red stuff, all the red trees, all the red, everything red. And I'm like, okay, well maybe it's just some sort of, but it was completely connected to the Borg the whole time.
Yeah, and sort of a slap in the face for the Ironic syndrome, huh?
I mean, good. I mean, did we ever like Ironic syndrome?
No one ever did. And
no,
and he didn't need to die and get a golden body.
Doesn't this make so much more sense now?
Makes way more sense than this.
Like this, yeah. Okay.
I always hated the Ironic syndrome because it never made sense to me. Like, we're in the future, like. Is there really a disease that is so rare and so unknown that no one knows how to deal with it? Like, I'm so glad that they fixed it.
The phage. Yeah, there are diseases.
Oh, but that was outside the Alpha Quadrant, though, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, there are. I mean, it's not just because we're in the future doesn't mean that's the case. But I didn't like the explanation of Ironic syndrome, which we got in All Good Things. Actually, it was the final episode.
Yeah, it felt like it came out of nowhere too. Like
it did. It felt like
Rob Miller, I like the banger episodes so far, but I've also liked the other episodes, even 7, because it's more time spent with long absent friends. True that, my friend.
Well said. Yeah, we get Rob, thank you so much for the super chat. We do get, you got to remember 9 and 10, the speed, everything kind of speeds up because we're into the climax of the show. And so we've got these, hour and a half to 2 hours to kind of tell the rest of it. And there will not be as much exposition as we've seen. And I don't know. I mean, aside from, I don't know how this isn't your favorite episode, aside from maybe episode 6, when we get so many of the reveals, so many of the ships, or bringing everybody back together last episode. I mean, it's just the hits just keep coming. And knowing there's only one more episode left just fills me with a sense of almost a sense of despair.
Yeah, dread.
Yeah, like I don't want this to be over.
Yeah.
Paramount, let me ask you a question. Do you want a fan base who's screaming for more? Or once a season is over, you go, okay, in a couple of years when the next season comes back, yeah, I'll probably tune in. Or do you want them when it's over going, oh my God, how can this be over?
Right.
Like, when was the last times anybody said that about Star Trek? Even go back to Enterprise. When it finished, it was like, oh, well, that was a dumb ending. But nobody was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is over. There's just that feeling you get. And we're having it now, and it's been a long time.
Foxhound, Alice Krieg's Borg voice gave me chills. Perfect. Yes.
Wasn't that great? I mean, first time since First Contact, right?
Yeah, that was
awesome. It's been a long time, man. And it was so great. Too bad they couldn't actually get her on the show. They just couldn't afford her. So
was that what it was?
I'm pretty sure it was. They couldn't afford her. They could afford her voice, but not her appearance.
Jessica Tennis, 7 not involved with Jack with Borg issue. Eyes rolling. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but that one last episode, right before they killed Vadic, when she was like, "It's fitting that you're here for this," I was screaming inside because I really wanted to like tell everyone what that meant.
So Jessica, let's see what she's saying here. 7 not involved with Jack with Borg issues. I don't know if I understand that, Jessica. If you can give us a little more info, and I'll definitely be happy to address that. You don't have to pay anything; just chat it down there for us, and we'll look.
Well, because 7's a Borg, I think is what she's saying.
I know, but I don't understand what she's saying. Is she saying 7 not involved with Jack with Borg issues? So I don't know.
Star Trek Late Night for $10. That's our boy Joe. My insides are exploding. Yeah, bro. Good.
It's funny. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. It's so rare we get an inside look at some of our fans, but Joe shares everything. Like, he was locked out of his house this morning. Like, we don't talk to him like except through Twitter, and we know this now. I mean, you share it with everybody, buddy.
Yeah, I actually, if you guys haven't seen Star Trek Late Night, you need to go check it out. I actually watch his Picard videos every day, and I even already know what's going on. But like seeing his reaction to it is actually really fun.
Highly emotional. Good stuff.
Yeah, man. Okay, I think we could jump into it, man. Okay.
You think you're ready?
I'm having a hard time holding back. I have a lot to say. Okay, so like we need to get this. We need to get this review started. You cool with that?
Okay, sounds good. Let me see. What else do we have? Just before we get into it, we've got. Let's see. Coming up this Monday, we'll say it in the advance here. Coming up this Monday on Raw Rant, we're going to have Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating and everybody from the Shuttle Pod show.
Trip Tucker.
Yep, Trip Tucker and I always do Malcolm Reed from Enterprise. They'll be on there, so they're going to be talking about everything, and they've really broken into the YouTube podcasting space. So we're going to talk about all that stuff too. So make sure you tune in that at 2:00 on Monday. So other than that, I think we can rock and roll.
Okay, then let's jump into it, shall we?
Yeah.
I got one more super chat. From Joe again. I am an overshare, but I love you guys for accepting my crazy BS.
No, we appreciate you, Joe.
Joe.
We give you a hard time, but only because you put yourself out there. We love that about you. So never stop being you, man.
Oh, it's awesome. You're great. Okay, here we go, boys and girls. If you don't know how this works, wait, let me do this again.
There's no do-overs on live TV, bro.
If you don't know how this works, it's pretty simple. If we like something, we give it an up vote. And if we dislike something, we give it a down vote. And at the very end of the review, we're going to average those two scores together and give it an official Popcast score. Are you ready, Shane?
I am ready. Why do I always have the negative one?
We are talking about Star Trek Picard, Season 3, the final season, Episode 9, titled Vox. All right, let me just clear these scores out real quick.
There was such a long pause. I think you expected me to say something, and
I did. I expected you to say something, and you were just like,
I mean, well, what does Vox mean, right?
Voice?
It means voice, yeah. Basically vocals, voice. So it's like, he is the transceiver, I guess, for the Borg. So I guess Vox makes sense, but it's not as cool as Locutus. Like that was like a cool name.
Yeah, anyone that edits audio knows what Vox means. It's Latin for voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of them out there that do that.
Yeah, well, it's like every audio program though uses some version of that.
Super chat from Stay Saze.
Stay Saze. Either the bridge of the D is really, really bright, or my eyes haven't gotten used to seeing dark bridges. I didn't cry. You cried.
No, bro. We both cried, bro. We both cried. Yeah, no, it's true. Isn't it funny how everybody was complaining about the lighting, and then as soon as you get back on, well, we're going to talk about it. When you get there, you realize, oh my God, it's the same lighting as the show.
Yeah.
So that was intentional.
When Picard says he missed the carpet, I laugh my butt off. Okay, here we go, everyone. We open up with the Red Door. Dun, 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 dun.
We're in Jack's head, and so we do this every week. So let's do this the right way. Okay, so last week's episode ended with Deanna Troy's hand on Jack's red door as she was about to open it. Vadic is defeated and dashed into 1,000 pieces against the Shrike. Data won the battle over Lore, and our TNG crew was back together for the first time in over 20 years. But what is the darkness surrounding Jack? Some of the things we hope to learn from this episode include what is behind the door, what is going to happen at Frontier Day, and what's in Hangar Bay 12 in the Fleet Museum. Here we've got the beginning with Deanna, and they show this visually that we're inside Jack's brain, and she's telling him things like, don't be scared, I'm here with you. She's giving him a lot of assurance that everything's going to be okay.
Right.
Right up until she opens the door.
Yep. Dum, 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 dum. And she's like, I gotta go. This isn't working. Sorry, Jack. Not working.
The pure look of horror on her face when she opens the door, and we don't know what she's seen, and all we know is the connection's been broken, and she's like, I gotta go. And somebody said earlier, like, that's a terrible counselor move. Like, but the reality is it sends a message to us, and this is an upvote for me. It tells us exactly how we should feel about Jack, because Deanna's scared of him.
Right.
Deanna's not scared of much, guys.
Right.
Like she just doesn't get scared of things.
Right.
She's scared of this. And that tells you that, oh crap, we should be scared. Like what Jack is capable of is going to be terrifying.
He's like, what did you see? What did you see?
He's like screaming, don't just leave. Tell me what you saw.
From No Money G for $5. Thank you, No Money G. I'm blown away and happy as a fly in a pile of poo. Literally, yes. Seasons 1 and 2. Thank you for giving me hope so long ago.
Oh, that's great.
You're
welcome, sir. No Money G. The receipts came out this week. I mean, I've already been communicating with some people who've been kind of DMing us and saying things like, wow, guys, you were so right. And it's nice to hear that, because the beginning was, really, guys? You sure you're not just full of crap here? Are you not just shills? Are you not just shilling for this thing because you got to see it early? Well, you guys be the judge. Were we shilling, or is this not just
friends of mine threatened to come to my home and physically harm me?
Well, if you were shilling, I probably would too.
Yeah. So what she saw was, we are the Borg.
I love that. Yeah, it's the Borg cube in a, and some, if you were thinking it was the Borg, this might be what you thought was coming, but, it was a surprise to me when the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
And a pleasant surprise. I love that we got the collective's voice. And of course, now we know why Deanna's terrified.
Yeah. A lot of people I saw people complaining, like, why was the vines and the lights and the red and the door all red? It shouldn't have been green. I'm like, no, because that would have been obvious, bro.
Right. Yeah. You couldn't just completely give it away. When you stop and think about it, Terry gave it away the whole season. I mean, those vines, they are, and I think it's funny because the comment I got from the person we were watching it with was like, you didn't realize what those vines were? And it's like, I just didn't. It didn't connect with me for some reason, which is good. And it's actually a pretty huge giveaway.
Well, to be fair, yeah, I think he spoils it in like the credits.
Sort of. Now, when you go back and look, it's spoiled.
Right. If you go back
But
and
you
look
don't.
now, you're gonna see all kinds of stuff. Like from episode 1, all that was in there. It's not like he was adding stuff as he got. Like those are the same credits the whole way. And he spoils a lot of stuff in the credits, but you don't really know it's a spoiler until after you've seen it.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think the clues were all there, and you gotta give mad respect for at least that. You know, the clues. He let the clues be out there. A lot of creatives won't give you this much information, you know, into their show because they're afraid you'll figure it out. And I don't think that was the case at all. And for everybody who is upset that the Borg are back, I'm getting more comments than I expected about how disappointed they are that the Borg are the big bad. Again, there's a couple things you got to think about here, and I really want you to take this to heart. Picard season 1, the Borg were not done correctly. We had a disabled Borg cube. We had a bunch of Borgs on board, a ton of Borg on board. They were just, launched into space. The Romulans were not handling it properly. It just was not great. The only good Borg stuff we got was the moment where 7 of 9 took control of the Borg cube for a second,
and then they totally cucked her.
And then that was nothing, a nothing burger. So, and then in season 2, I mean, can we all agree that the Borg weren't handled very well in season 2?
The Borg in season 2, that's not. Can we not even pretend that those are real Borg? I love that Shaw literally says, "Forget about that bull crap."
Right.
He says this in episode 4. He's like, "Forget about this, the bull crap with whatever." Yeah. The real Borg are still out there. I was like, oh, thank God he said that. Even before I knew that the Borg were the big bad, I was like, I haven't gotten a conclusion to the Borg yet.
Right. And that's the most important thing to say here. So the reason why it's critical that the Borg are at this place is because when you think about it, the way Locutus was handled was weird. Like the best of both worlds, they took him, he became Locutus. We had Wolf 359. He was brought back and saved as Locutus. And then the next episode, we just moved on. Right. And when you stop and think about it, this is probably the single most, the biggest thing that ever happened to him as a character. It was a part of him that was never really resolved properly for us. And now we're getting answers to a bunch of things. And listen, the show is called Star Trek Picard. It's really about him. We are getting the TNG, but this is the wrap up of Jean-Luc Picard. Right. And what better way to wrap up Jean-Luc Picard than to finally settle the Locutus story and what that means for his legacy, what that means for his children, what that means to Star Trek as a whole. You have to do this. Yeah, what other big bad could step in and give this sort of gravitas into this season? Who could it have been that would have made sense for Jean-Luc Picard?
And don't answer the paw wraiths, because that was a DS9 thing. That wasn't a TNG thing. So the thing is this, even though I probably wouldn't cool to seen that, but that's not a DS9. That's not. I don't need a conclusion to the paw wraiths. I needed a conclusion. I needed a conclusion to the Borg. Like really plain and simple.
Or at least Picard, not necessarily because this isn't a conclusion to the Borg necessarily.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I needed to know what was happening. Here's the deal. In First Contact, we got a sort of a semi-conclusion. And then Voyager gave us sort of a semi-conclusion. And the whole time for 30 years, I was wondering, what's up with the Borg? We made videos about it. What happened to the Borg? Yeah. What are they doing? We've made theory videos that's gotten millions of views. Thank you for watching those. Wondering what's going on with the damn Borg. And then in season 1 of freaking Picard season 1, the Borg are just a derelict species being pushed around by Romulans. It was so unfulfilling. It was the absolute worst answer you could have given me. And then season 2 comes along and I'm promised Borg. And what do I get? This weird pseudo-Borg. The Jaborgi thing. That was weird. Mm-hmm. And then the conclusion, and then she's guarding something. I don't know. Again, I'm just sitting here with blue balls being like, where are the Borg? Where's the real Borg at? Here they are.
Well said. Yeah, I think you're right.
Christopher Mays for $4.99. The fact that it's the Borg gets a downvote from me because they're overused, but it's an upvote on execution. We wish we didn't have Borg in seasons 1 and 2. Yes, I agree.
That's the right answer, Christopher. Thank you for that super chat.
And I'm gonna that upvote. I'm gonna take your upvote and I'm gonna apply it to my column there, brother.
Yeah, no, I'll take it too. In fact, I was going to vote the Borg anyways, but Chris's point, I think, shines a good light on it. I wish we hadn't have gotten it in season 1 and season 2. You know, you could have got 7 of 9 back without bringing a Borg cube around.
Yeah, you didn't need the Borg. You could have brought 7 and 9 back without even addressing the Borg. I don't understand why the Borg cube had to be a thing. It's like you took like the biggest bad there was, and you just totally chained it up in the backyard like an emaciated lion.
Well, emaciated was the word for Picard season 1. Picard was emaciated. The Starfleet was emaciated. Everything was, they deconstructed everything in that season. So
yeah. It was, you know what it was like, Shane? Yeah. It was like when you go to a really nice restaurant and you buy you splurge, right? You got your tax money or whatever. And you're like, I'm going to get a nice big steak. I'm going to get a steak at this place called Maestro. It's like $120. I can't wait. I never treat myself. And what they bring you out like this deconstructed steak where it's like finely cut and there's like 4 little portions and it's all like, it's like a piece of art. And all you wanted was a goddamn porterhouse. And you're like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. I don't want to pay for this. Where's the real meat?
Yes, a deconstructed steak makes no sense, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah. Don't stop doing that. LA. Dude, Los Angeles is crazy. Foxhound, are we in for a treat for episode 10? Without spoiling it, I can tell you this. Yeah. Absolutely.
The satisfaction you should feel at the end of episode 10 cannot be understated.
Yeah, I hope you guys, I hope some of you at least now see where we were coming from the last, I don't know, 7 months, because we were banging this drum for a long time, and like we couldn't tell you why. Tell you why, but like we can tell you this. I know there's one more episodes left. And what did I say 3 months ago? At the very least, you're going to be thoroughly entertained. Like, if you're not crying, I get it. But at the very least, thoroughly entertained.
Yeah.
Daniel
Altamirano.
Thank you, Shane. Jesus, I can't. For ARS 225, whatever that is, thank you. No one has ever heard from the Borg in the last 10 years. Seasons 1 and 2 never existed and barely just saved us all. We can forget them. That's...
Well, actually, let me explain how that was done. I know it looks like a retcon, but here's the reality. There was no Borg during season 1. Not really. Remember, they had been disconnected from the Hive mind.
Right,
and
so the cube they found was a disconnected cube.
Right. So there technically were no, I mean, they were Borg, but there was no, hive of Borganism, I guess. There was no Borg hive mind to deal with during season 1.
Yeah. The way that they presented that though was like, this is what's left of the Borg.
Right. Yes.
And you're like, whoa, you're just going to tell us that? We don't get to see this?
Yeah, they made it seem like that was all that was left from the Borg, right?
Yeah.
So then season 2, we get Jaborgi, right? So we get the Borg Queen in an alternate timeline, right? It
was an alternate time. It's like, so they went to the mirror universe or something like that. I'm not even sure what it is. And I'm gonna say it one more time. Why even do like an alternate universe when you had the mirror universe right there? You could have just used the mirror universe.
It wasn't the mirror universe.
I know it wasn't. But but why invent another reality?
Because the mirror universe is not one of our realities.
It's just so weird. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so
it could have been great. No, it couldn't. Honestly, it could have been great. We wrote a whole theory on how that could have been a fantastic show.
Yeah, but they didn't tie it up right, and they didn't even follow their own time travel logic, bro.
Right. So, anyways, we got Jaborgi for that one, but
which was like an alternate Borg, then mixed with Girardi.
Yeah, So honestly, there was no Borg even then. I mean, you know, honestly, they even cancel it. They retcon it in this, like you said earlier, was, with Captain Shaw, who said, that dumb thing that happened. So, I mean, that really wasn't Borg activity necessarily. So I see what you're saying here, Daniel. The reason she said that, I think, is because of those reasons, that we haven't had any true Borg in 10 years. So good point. Thank you.
Andre Benson for $5. At first, the red door revealing to me was a little underwhelming, but after the reveal, boy, it turned up. Changed mind about it. Yeah.
Right. And, if you guys think about it, the transwarp corridors are red. So that could be a representation of the transwarp corridors, actually. So
I didn't catch that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's well, if you look at it even here, this is a transwarp corridor, which we'll see when we get to Jack later. And they are, so maybe that's why they were red.
All right, from Zeti Zassi. Damn, bro.
STE Zassi.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm really bad with names. I could barely spell my own name. Season 2 Borg is Borg brought from Wish.
The Wish version of Borg.
Can I upvote your interview with Terry Matalis where you pretended you hadn't seen all 10 episodes early? Shh, bro.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you for that. Yes, the Wish version of Borg.
Yeah. The Jaborgi is literally like the wish.com version of the Borg.
Yeah. Well
That's
said.
Funny. Upvote the interview with Terry where we pretended we had not seen it. Shh. From Joe, how can 10 possibly top 9? Give me the tease. I'm not kidding. You're crazy, man.
Well, I mean, I think 9's already left us. I think 9 has left us in a place where, I mean, it's a cliffhanger. Aren't you dying to know what's going to happen next week?
10 is the conclusion, right?
Right. So, so imagine how it can be concluded and how that could possibly top the thing. But make sure you watch all the way to the end of next week's episode because...
Oh, my God.
That's important.
Right. Forgot. I almost forgot about that. How
could you forget about that?
Oh, you guys.
Say no more.
I'm not saying
just watch all the way to the end, guys.
But listen, when you think it's over, it's not over. And then when you think it's over again, just to be clear, it's not over. It's not over until you see white text on black screen. Just to be clear, do not stop watching until you see white text on black screen, please.
Yes.
Do not miss next week. You can't miss it. From STE, season 2 Borg, not Borg. Yeah, I figured that much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the super chats.
Thank you for the super chats, guys. From Adam Mardell, just watch episode 9. Wow, I don't think I stopped crying from the second they arrived at the Fleet Museum until Enterprise D went to warp. That was so emotional for me too.
Rewatched it over and over again.
Yeah, I watched it like 15 times, dude. So what's funny is we have screeners where you can only watch it a certain amount of times, and I'm like, is every time when I rewind it, is it counting as a view?
Probably, and then I wouldn't be able to watch it. Yeah.
I know, I was worried about that. From M. Stark, tell me I'll find out more about my dear Enterprise E. It's my favorite ship. I need to know what happened to it. Glad it's implied Worf was the captain. In the words of Worf, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, they handled that really well. And the reason why is because the E is not the hero of this show.
Right.
And you have to skip the E, which we actually find out in this episode, which we'll get to. You guys probably missed it. I bet a lot of people missed the skipping of the E in this episode, but we'll get to that. But there is content out there that talks about Worf being the captain of the E.
Yes.
I think it's some non-canon stuff, and I do believe that the E story will eventually be told in some way. And it was indicated to us that story would, is yet to be told some way. And I love that they gave it an open door here.
There's some official comic books though, like official from Paramount comic books about Worf and the E.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about that, but what I can tell you is that if you look at the beginning of this season, in conversation, Geordi mentioned that they obviously couldn't use the Enterprise E, the ship that debuted in Star Trek First Contact and as the destroyed Enterprise D successor. However, what Geordi is alluding to is basically what happened is there's in the beginning of the show. I just missed this here. I hate my mouse wheel. There was something at the beginning. Yes. The latest episode, Fleeing the Titan. I'll find it for you guys. But there was something at the beginning that gave us some hints that the E was going to be. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Ahead of Star Trek Picard Season 3's debut, Paramount Plus released some personnel files from the Titan's computer explaining what the Enterprise crew has been up to in the years since Star Trek Nemesis. Worf's file confirmed that he re-enlisted in Starfleet full-time after his brief stint in diplomacy and eventually achieved the rank of captain. It also confirmed that he continued to serve aboard Enterprise E, though the account stopped short of clearly confirming that Worf became the Enterprise's captain, as shown in the Star Trek Picard novel, The Last Best Hope. So it's believed that there was some sort of incident. What the file says is that Worf's time back on Enterprise E was brief, and that he left after the incident above Krilliar Prime. Krilliar Prime. So something happened at Krilliar Prime that he was involved in, and I'm guessing the E, got destroyed.
E might not have made it.
Right. And, so maybe he was the captain, maybe he wasn't. I'm sure that story is going to come out, though. And, yeah.
So, back to the review here, and we'll do super chats as they come, guys. So Beverly makes a point of telling him, like, Jack's never been assimilated, and this is when we start getting the information. And Dee's like, Deanna's like, yeah, no, it's the Borg, 100% the Borg.
So this is really important here because I think some of the complaints that we're going to get start here. So Beverly basically has this moment when Deanna's explaining what's happened, right? She trusts, and we have to trust that Deanna knows what she's talking about. Beverly goes into like thinking mode, right? And she's thinking, well, okay, how could it be Jack? What could it be? Right. And she starts to put all these things together. And she very effectively is able to describe the entire situation as it's unfolded.
Right.
That Jack is a transceiver because transceivers are organic, just like when birds fly in a flock, they immediately turn together without thinking, or bees or ants. And then she even, says that, well, Picard didn't have aromatic syndrome. And I know some of the complaints are going to be like, well, how did she know all this stuff? Or how did she figure it out? And why didn't they show us it and stuff like that? All I can say is that there's only 10 episodes. There's only so much time to show things. And if there was one Starfleet personnel that you would trust that would be able to put all these clues together to figure it out, it would have to be Beverly Crusher. As a medical professional, as one of the best medical professionals in Starfleet, we'd have to trust that if somebody was able to kind of put all those thoughts together, it would be her. And so therefore it's believable to me, even though they don't explain how she necessarily, processed through each one of those things. It's kind of off the top of the head. Might have been a little better if she suggested it as more of a suggestion than a fact, but it is believable to me, and it does not take me out of the story. So
yeah, that's fair. I do like this, by the way. A few episodes ago, people kept asking me, like, why do they have Picard's body? And I was having to make stuff up. I'm like, well, maybe it's because he was in the Nexus, and maybe it's because he's a captain, and they don't want people to get his body. I really wish I could have told you guys. It's because Soon was investigating the what was going on with his head, because it wasn't aromatic disorder.
Right. So, yeah. So apparently the way she's seeing it is that Soong recognized that it really wasn't actually aromatic syndrome and decided to keep the body for study. Those are, let's be serious. Those are guesses that are being displayed as facts because they don't really know what was going on in Soong's head. But we can assume that's a reasonable guess. That might have been the case. And the fact that Beverly would know if something, because you got to remember, they paid this off earlier in the season by making it look like they said, oh no, Jack, that's your aromatic syndrome acting up.
Right.
You have aromatic syndrome. So even then they just really couldn't detect it.
Well, it's funny. It's like when they were saying that, I'm like, there's no way that's aromatic syndrome. And even then they were detecting aromatic syndrome. I didn't put the pieces together when I was first watching it, that we're seeing what Picard would have been saying. And in First Contact, remember, devoid of any kind of nanites or implants, he was hearing and seeing the Borg. He was seeing visions in the mirror, same as Jack.
So I have another upvote because that never made sense to me. Like, it actually bothered me back in the day that he had those things happening to him. And I'm like, he doesn't have anything going on. What is happening? There's no devices. There's no, how could he possibly be doing it? Well, guess what? Star Trek Picard season 3 just explained it. They fixed a part of old canon here for us. Yeah, and now it makes sense.
It's funny. I remember when I was, we weren't on YouTube back then, obviously. But I remember thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, this doesn't really add up. Maybe in the movie they're going to explain it somehow. Maybe there's some like nanites left behind or something. And then when it just never was explained that he can like sends the Borg or whatever, I'm like, oh, that don't add up, dude. That's like mystical. That's like we're in like Star Wars territory here. And now it makes sense. It was very nice of them to fix this movie, to fix a big part of the problem, a big problem in the movie for me.
And not just fix it, but also make the story better.
Right.
Like make the whole Locutus thing even better. So they're fixing Locutus actually. Not that anybody would have been upset that it hadn't, said, oh, they could have done Locutus better. But it just is better, even though we weren't asking for it necessarily.
Yeah. The best sequel is a sequel that makes the previous episodes or movies better somehow. We've said that before about Marvel stuff. Foxhound, Ed Speleers is phenomenal. What a performance. Cannot wait to see his next fate. His fate next episode. Hope he gets a conclusion to his story. Thank you, Foxhound. Thank you very much.
Yeah, much appreciate that. And I agree with you. I even was writing down, I'm like, man, Ed Speleers is just bringing it to the house. Like we're about to come up to an episode here, or come to a part of the show where he just delivers, and then Patrick Stewart delivers, and it's like it's so just emotionally deep and like it just resonates with me. I love it.
Look at this framing. Look at this framing on Jack right now.
Yeah,
like this, well this is like artwork. You understand that? This shot right here, this is like something that this should go on a wall somewhere.
Okay, so yeah, I agree with you. So, but real quick before we get into that room, so basically after it's all delivered, Beverly says, "I'll go talk to him," and then Picard's like, "No, this is my fault. I need to go talk to him. I pass this on to him." And then Deanna, as he's leaving, Deanna's like, "Hold on, guys. There's protocol for this." And all of a sudden, you realize like they're thinking as parents, but Deanna's thinking as a Starfleet officer,
right?
And she's like, "Your son's dangerous." So now Picard has to come in here like double heavy heart. He's got to deliver bad news and kind of double bad news for Jack.
Right. That's true. For Mike Hill, I put money on Voyager showing up to help Picard. Well, we already saw Voyager at the Fleet Museum.
That's true. We did. Well, hey, maybe somebody jumps on Voyager.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd love that.
CJ for $9.99. I need a spoiler for episode 10. Will we see phasers? Well, normally I don't give away spoilers, but I'll tell you this, CJ. Yes, we see phasers.
Did you see Jack? Jack was actually holding a phaser on the Borg.
You already here first.
Right?
Yeah.
And thank you, CJ. He actually had a phaser, and I looked closely at that phaser, and that damn phaser looks like a TOS phaser.
It does. It does. I'm not the only one that saw that, right?
No, it looks like a TOS phaser.
So Jack's phaser, the one he's been carrying this whole time, it looks like an old school phaser. I love it.
Sure does.
And I want it. I want to put it right there.
Can you replace it with your little weapon you got back there?
No.
All right.
No, I can't. I'm going to add to it, bro.
Why don't you put that thing in a safe?
I'm going to have a whole... The firing pin has been removed, Shane.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you very much.
It is totally safe where it is right now. Just to be clear, it's safe where it is right now. Okay? The firing pin is in a different... is actually in a safe. It's fine.
He actually runs around playing like cops and robbers in his house.
No, I don't. I wouldn't leave a weapon capable of killing my kids like just on the desk. I took the firing pin out, and took the cartridge out. And
I think it's important that you say that because
they're in my safe, in my bedroom, and only I can get into that safe.
Okay, now everybody knows that, and everybody feels a lot better about it. Your family is safe.
My family is safe.
If Jack got into your house,
because of this,
if Jack got into your house, he could turn your eyes red, and then you would have no choice.
I'm just true. Saying. That's true. But I do want that phaser. Okay.
Okay.
Shane's so uncomfortable with a weapon. Like, he acts like he hasn't held
I mean, it's on
before.
screen. It's just weird. Mine's locked up.
Okay. All right, dude.
It's okay. You said the fire. It can't be used.
It cannot be used. I have to put
It's
it
an
back
art
together
piece.
to use it. It's actually really not good for home security because it's going to take me like 15 minutes to get it put back together.
I agree with that. You should keep that stuff at least close to you.
Right. From Tia Toys, could the language spoken by the changelings be Breen just without the helmet
Ooh.
respirator? Oh, interesting. That's
cool.
We should ask Terry about that. Anyone else want the entire museum to have gone to the rescue? That would have been awesome.
Oh, gosh, that would have been so cool. So expensive.
That would have been so expensive, though.
So expensive, but yes, that would have been like if you had like your dream, like how it would go. Like you'd have Voyager,
the Voyager, the
all
Enterprise,
of them would be, and then you'd have characters from each of those shows.
The Defiant, dude. Worf is on the Defiant, bro.
Right. Imagine
imagine
like descendants of certain characters who are no longer with us, like Captain Archer's great grandson or something, or granddaughter.
Yeah, that would have been awesome, man. That's really cool. All right, now we're in this room. It's about to get heavy. He's like, I'm never letting a goddamn betasaur in my head again. The fact that she's a former Starfleet counselor, he was really pissed at her.
I mean, the fact she rolled out on him, man. She was like, she gave him no answers. She told him to trust her, right? And then she went into his head, and then she freaked out and ran away.
Right.
So you can appreciate his frustration at this moment.
To be fair, I'd be mad too, bro. I mean, yeah. All right, you want to explain what's going on?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So basically, Picard's there to tell him what's going on, and Jack's very angry.
Of course.
And so he tries to explain to him. He tells him the story. 35 years ago, I was taken, I was assimilated, and that was passed to you. And Jack's getting frustrated. And they have this back and forth. It's a really nice moment here. I'd like to upvote, both the acting for Jack and then also another upvote for Patrick Stewart, who says something that's really critical. He says, I almost killed everything I loved, everything and everyone I loved, and it's like, there's always been like this, you knew that Patrick Stewart, or you knew that Picard was suffering from what happened with Locutus.
Right.
But he's never like emotionally dumped it, at least where we could be around to hear it.
Right.
And he was able to do that. He like emotionally dumped it. He wanted to share with Jack the level of importance and serious this event is, to really share with him why you need to understand what's about to happen. And he really needs him to understand, because what's about to happen in a second is going to doubly hurt Jack. And he knows it. So then Jack, of course, says, no, you're not going to send me to no Vulcan planet. They want to send him to a Vulcan institute, where Jack says they're going to mind meld with him and try to lobotomize the Borg parts. Right.
Right.
Jack's just finding out that this Borg stuff is kind of a part of who he is. And so it's hard for him to kind of separate this. So Picard tells him, no, it's going to be fine. The Vulcan place is called Keslavar. It's a research academy on Vulcan. Jack says, ain't going to do it. And he decides he's going to leave.
Right.
So he starts to leave. And then, as we see, there are 2 Starfleet officers.
Yeah.
Waiting at the door.
This is my next upvote, because that was awesome.
It was, especially because what's happening. So Jack immediately recognizes, oh my gosh, my father has once again chosen Starfleet over me.
Right.
I mean, that's what that is. It goes right way back to the beginning of this show, where Jack didn't want to meet him in the first place because he thought that Picard wouldn't want him.
Right.
And now it's happening again. He's having the worst moment of his life. He just found out he's like got Borg in him, and now his father is basically choosing Starfleet over him. And if you didn't catch that, that's exactly what that scene's about.
Right. And the shot is like, it shows him in the background, face turned away. Like, this is a shot. This was intentional. The way this was shot.
So well done.
Yeah. Very good. And he was like,
so another vote for that scene for me.
And he's like, I was never getting out of here on my own, was I?
Right.
And he just decides to stop playing the game. Do what he's been doing his entire life and play by his own rules. It's really what he's about to do right here.
Right. And he does it because his father, basically, he feels like his father turned on him. So then he uses his Borg ability to control the Starfleet security guys, puts trained phaser on his father. You can tell how upset he is. He's got to like train phasers on his father.
To be fair, though,
Right.
he's not doing this out of like maliciousness. He's like, I'm just going to solve the problem myself because I can't trust people around me to do it.
I don't even know if he's that clear-headed about it. I think maybe he's in pain. He feels like he's probably been backstabbed in a way.
Sure.
Plus, he's trying to deal with the fact that he's got this incredible revelation that now he has to deal with. He's not thinking clearly.
Right.
You know, and obviously he does the same thing to his mother. She's like, no, Jack, don't go. We'll figure this out. We'll blah, blah, blah. You know, and he's like, nope, I'm going home is what he told her. How hard could that be for a mom to hear that?
Right.
Like, you know, like, I don't even belong to you. I belong to the Borg.
Right.
So,
and that,
but he's not going. Go ahead.
All right, and the Borg queen, you know, like she's calling him the entire time, so he knows where to go.
Right. Well, he didn't. Yeah, he thought it was his mom's voice he was hearing.
Right.
All those years, but it wasn't. It was the Borg queen's voice. And here's what's jacked up is like his intention isn't even to go. He wants to trade himself for information. He's so desperate to know how this happened and why this is happening that he's willing to trade himself for it. And then he basically says something to the effect of, "And I'll show her exactly what I'm made of."
Right.
So he's rage filled right now,
which was a cool thing though. It's like, oh, she wants me. All right, cool. Lock and load. She can have me.
Yeah, I mean, he's ready to go out in a blaze of glory, kind of.
Right. Very cool, actually. From Daniel Altamirano, ARS 90. Oh, look, Santa is in the house. I cried right there.
Can you pop it up on the screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it. Did I miss Look Santa being in there?
Look, Santa in the house. I cried right there. I don't know if I didn't see her, if that was the case.
Yeah.
Tell us what scene that was in, Daniel.
I'm going to clarify that because I have a crush on her, or I had a crush on her.
Well, she was in the house because she was the voice of Enterprise D Computer, if that's what he's talking about.
Oh, that's what he's talking about. Okay, yes.
Yeah. That's what you mean, Daniel. Absolutely. Now, look, yeah, it would be cool to have Troy's mom on the show, but as the voice of the computer, it was wonderful. And we'll get to that point, but it was wonderful hearing her voice and that memorable.
Yes. From Black Magnum for $5. What the heck does Captain Kirk have to be on the Daystrom station?
Okay. So Black Magnum, thank you so much for the super chat. Captain Kirk is there because it's just fun as hell.
We made a whole video about it.
We did. You should go watch it. It kind of explains what we think, but just the fact that, Kirk died on Viridian 3. I think it's Viridian 3. He died, saving the galaxy again with Captain Picard, but it was just not a good death. It really wasn't the way we would have wanted him to go out. And so it was cool that Terry brought his body to Daystrom Station because we don't know what happened to Kirk's body after that. He was buried on Viridian 3, but there's books that William Shatner wrote because he didn't want his character to die that have Kirk living again. So it was kind of cool to find out that Kirk's body's there along with the Genesis 2 device, right?
Which by the way, you have Kirk's body with the Genesis device.
Right.
What happens when you combine the remains and the Genesis device? What happens, Shane?
What happens? Well, you get Spock back. That's what happens.
Right, yeah. And you get like you get the young version.
Yes, you can. Well, it does age back, but yeah.
I mean, eventually they age back. Right, but this is the Genesis 2 device. Does that one age back?
There upgrades made? Right. Could we have Captain Kirk in the 25th
I'm sorry,
century?
Terry put all that stuff in there for a reason. He wanted us all to do this.
He wanted us all to want more Star Trek in the 25th century.
Right.
And he just thought it was cool. When you ask him, why did you do it? He's like, because it's freaking cool.
Yeah. And I think that if Terry does get a shot at it, I can totally see him like trying to like tackle a young Kirk again or something like that. That'd be super rad.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Andre Benson said for $2 says last week Jack Phaser. He said last week Jack Phaser looked like a TOS phaser. Yes, that's right.
You did, and Andre, that was the reason why I was looking so hard this week.
Yeah, I didn't believe you, man.
I wanted to. Well, I know I believed him, but you could only see like the front pointy part of it. You couldn't see the side. This week you got to see the side, and so confirmation, Andre, on your point.
Yes. This is when she talks about Wesley. This is my first downvote. I'm kidding.
No, I thought this was great, but look, can you go through the 2 super chats real quick?
I gave Wesley space and lost him to it.
I thought it was great. This is such a freaking okay. You want to talk about this now? Upvote, please, because Picard is saying, you know, he got the best of you and the worst of me,
Mm-hmm.
and then Beverly in return says, I gave Wesley space and lost him to it. I watched Jack too closely, and I was too close, and I missed it. Yes, they're both angry and upset with themselves over what happened, just as a parent would do when something horrible happens to your kid. You blame yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was just beautifully, whoever wrote that shit did it fantastically. Her saying those words, I gave Wesley space. She did. He had the run of the ship. He did whatever the hell he wanted to do, right? And she lost him to space. I mean, it was just beautiful, really poetic words.
I agree. That's very poetic. Although it didn't help when the guy in the space van came offering candy to the young Wesley, and no one told Wesley not to accept candy from strangers.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That was weird. It was weird. I'm never gonna let that go. It was weird.
Yeah, I know you bring it up every week.
Yeah, because it was every time Wesley's brought up, it's weird. It doesn't work. It's weird.
Well, it's not that. Listen, they had to get rid of him somehow,
and they were just trying to get rid of Wesley.
They were getting him off the show. That's exactly what it was.
Okay, so we really need to get rid of Wesley. What do you suggest? Like, well, how about this? How about a guy come in who's really into him, right, and then takes him away off the ship?
Had that been acted properly by the alien character, it could have been really cool. If he had been more like Obi-Wan Kenobi, then, you know.
Yes, actually, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
If he had been more like mentor Obi-Wan Kenobi and less googly smiley face guy,
more Yoda.
I think you're right. Worked. But alternatively, you could have just sent him to the freaking Starfleet Academy.
They could have, but they wanted to make it. I don't know. They wanted it to be something. Remember, he was supposed to be special. You got to remember, you know, Beverly had sex with a ghost candle. And so all of her kids are now special.
I want to thank Gates McFadden and Deanna Troy for awakening the young me when I was in my teens. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, Brian.
Foxhound for $1.99. Troy, useless and not even in Starfleet.
Oh, what? Oh, it's talking about like her. Oh, I see. Yeah, she's not in Starfleet anymore. You're right. That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
She didn't do a great job helping Jack out. That's for sure.
Yeah. From Wahani 94, the amount of energy Patrick Stewart applied to his voice when he said "engage."
Oh, right.
Goosebumps for days. Love your show. Greetings from Finland. Thank you.
Thank you, Juhani. I got to tell you that I loved it. I did notice exactly how strong his voice when he said "engage."
Yeah,
like it's good to have Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, it was like, if this is the last time, I'm gonna give it everything I got. It was great.
And I tell you what, you can't appreciate that if you don't watch the first 2 seasons of Picard.
No, you can't.
You can't appreciate what just happened. I know a lot of people didn't want to watch it, but you have to watch the first 2 seasons to understand how awesome that moment is.
You don't got to watch the first 2 seasons.
In order to understand how awesome that moment is. Yes, you do.
To get the absolute most out of that moment.
Yes.
Sure.
You do.
But
you don't have to. Right.
Was it worth watching all of that? I don't know.
Well, I can understand why I can appreciate this so much more, maybe.
I'm going to upvote this because I love this, like the date. You know, I love the scene with Data and Picard here. Like,
it's so nice. Yeah, it shows, and I'd like to vote it too. It shows first Data having empathy, right? But even more importantly, we already know this about the new Data, that he's got, more human feelings, and he senses that Picard needs this. Data's basically come to tell him that they can't find the shuttle, and that Jack is jamming the transponder most likely. And Picard, it's not just that Data gives Picard affection. Picard then gives Data affection.
Yeah,
he returns the empathy to Data. Not a typical move for Patrick Stewart or for Jean-Luc Picard. And it was just nice to see this growth in his character.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, back to Jack.
Oh, real quick here, Jeremy Snyder, $2 super chat. who would have guessed that being a Borg was STD was an STD? Yeah, that's a good point. Pass it on to your kids, man. It's not a good STD to get.
It's good. All right. Okay. Here we go. Here we are with Jack.
So he gets to the destination. So, you know, obviously he must have sensed, or once he made his full Borg connection, was able to figure out what the coordinates were from the Borg. I'm guessing it was in his head. I think another nitpicky thing people are going to come back with is, how did Jack know where to go? You're going to have to deal with this on Saturday with a certain Matt Kadish, by the way. So he's going to have all these questions for you. So you'll want to be armed with how to answer them.
On like how he knew where to go.
Right. Because, you know, they don't explain it necessarily, but, you know, you have to, you know, believe that there's a lot going on in his head that we don't necessarily know, that he's just figuring out this moment now that he's accepted the fact that he's got Borg.
So I do know that the Borg drones, they know where to go.
Do they? I guess they do. There's some sort of homing beacon.
Yeah,
or
they have
device.
some kind of beacon or something, because like how many times we're like, their default mode is to like power up, you know, take over a ship and return home.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought they are able to send a signal to the Borg and the Borg come get them.
No, I mean, in Enterprise, when they were awakened in the Antarctic, the first thing they did was they took over a ship and they were trying to get home.
Right. That was the only time in all of the time Borgs have been apart where I've seen it done that way. It's usually the opposite way. Like they send out a signal to let the Borg know where they're at.
I'm sure I can probably find other examples, but off the top of my head, the only time I remember there being disconnected Borg, like, what did they do? They created a ship and they were trying to get home immediately.
No, because you got in TNG, you had the iBorg, which, Hugh, right?
Hugh.
And so they had to disable his transponder because he was trying to let the Borg know where he was at. Then you got Ichib, right, when he was separated from the Borg. And in both times, the situation was they had to make sure he couldn't connect to the Borg, or else the Borg would know where they were at or come to them. That's what I thought anyways. But you're right. First Contact was that way. But I don't know if there was another option, because you got to remember the Borg were in the Delta Quadrant. So I'm not sure what else those.
Yeah, so maybe it works
Borgs
both ways. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like I would guess that if the drone has the ability, like the same as like a pigeon or an ant,
makes sense. Yeah.
Or a bee, like they know where to find the queen, right?
It's believable, definitely.
Right. I'm gonna upvote this because I like this shot of the Borg cube. I've always had a thing for Borg cubes. One of these days, I'm gonna finish our Borg cube computers.
That would be great. Yeah. Thank you to Cherry.
Cherry Tree gave us these awesome Borg cube cases, and it's just so expensive to put a computer together. So.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, you should check them out. They're not sponsoring this video, which we do have to talk about that after this review. Once again, we did not take care of our extra guys.
Oh my goodness. We got a super chat from Michael Nemo. The robot is correct. 709. I had to pause from deep gut busting laughing at this line aimed at.
Yes, that was so great. Yes. Laughing. I love 7. Yeah, God, you just a reminder of how much you love 7 of 9. You got to remember, 7 of 9 doesn't know Data.
Right.
Like, so she doesn't know Data. So she doesn't have like a personal connection to him or anything. So she
has no connection to him. Right. This is like, this is all the only, this is the entirety of her experience with him.
Yeah. So the robot is correct. I love that as well.
That's great.
So we learn here that basically back when Picard had this thing happen to him with Locutus, is that the Borg actually added to his DNA. So his DNA was changed, but 35 years ago, they didn't have the ability to detect it. Apparently now they can. And based on Beverly's theory, or what she's put forward, they've now done the checks and they found out that, yes, this is exactly what has happened. So this is confirming Beverly's.
I see. Stuff. So they have a transmitter protein. It's like, let's spell it out for everyone. Transmitter protein, receiver protein. Got it.
It's good science. I mean, this is good Trek. I mean, this is like explaining things in a sciencey way so that it makes sense. Is very much appreciated. And we learned that Jack is essentially a transceiver, right? So he's able to put out to other Borg. Whereas I think Locutus was a receiver, so he was just able to receive.
Yeah. So I don't even know. Like, someone tell me in the chat. Like, do we know how ants and like bees do it? In the real world, because like ants, they just know where to go. Like they communicate.
Hive mind, right?
Like they're literally a hive mind. Have we figured out how they do that?
I'm sure there's ideas, but nobody would know 100%. I don't think.
Yeah, I would like to know. Now I want to go watch like a National Geographic thing about ants. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah.
All right. So they're asking that he was never assimilated.
I think it's important here what Geordi says. He says he may be Borg, but that's not all he is. We needed the reminder that, because right now everything that we've seen is he's basically accepted being kind of a Borg. We're talking about him like he's a Borg, and Geordi brings back a little bit of the humanity of Jack and saying, look, he's not all Borg. That's not all he is.
Right.
And we need to remember that, because he's not the villain here.
Right. From Jamie Moore for $10. Thank you, Jamie Moore. As much as I'm loving the show, I don't love some of the earlier Jack stuff. I get that he's Borg, but why does he have visions of killing the crew, and why now? Seems a bit disjointed to me. Rest in peace, Shaw. So this is how I took it, Jamie, and you could correct me, Shane, if you want. The closer it got to their mission, the closer they got to like, the Queen's goal or whatever, the more pressure was exerted, and the more he was having those visions and that influence from the Queen. Like just be like, he wasn't having him his entire life, or he was, but he maybe wasn't at that level, because they're getting closer and closer to that goal. I think that's the case.
Well, I think Beverly mentioned it, and thank you again for the super chat. Beverly mentioned this episode, or Picard says it to Beverly. He says, don't be so hard on yourself. It was because of you all these years that actually kept this from happening sooner. So I think it's probably his state of emotional distress, the fact that they're under so much pressure, and he's not able to normalize, maybe, that this is finally like kind of succumbed him. Like it's overcoming him based on all the stress that he's under, kind of like a virus would, or something like that. So I think that's, when you have a low immune system, what happens?
Right.
Like you get sick.
Right. Like when I'm up for 3 days, straight, like editing video, I often get sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jack's just
because Shane makes me edit video.
I don't
like some kind of like slave in my video mining, cave.
Okay. You would do it. You wouldn't do anything else. So
I wouldn't do anything else. I'd do the same thing.
Yeah. So, and rest in peace, Shaw. Absolutely. We're going to get there, and that's going to be really great to talk
about. From Deadfly for $20. I just caught that you said if it's the last time he says engage, he's going to give it his all. I know you won't say anything, but pull your left ear. If Picard dies, cry like a baby at the end of episode. Well, this is my right ear.
Which? Oh, wait. I didn't miss that. Where at is that?
He says, because I said if it's the last, when he was referring to engage, like he said engage, but like with gusto. I was like, well, if it's the last time he's going to say it with. I was actually referring to the actor, like if the actors.
Well, did you say the last time? Because what I heard was the last time he said it. You're saying this is the last time.
Well, I mean, like this is the last season, the final season of Picard. Like Patrick Stewart's not coming back for this role. I guess the point, what Brian's trying to say is, I guess what Deadfly's trying to say is, does he say engage again next episode? Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to answer you. But I'll tell you this. Honestly, he probably doesn't remember, but because this was like the big engagement. Yeah, I actually don't remember. Straight up. This is the big, like, this is the first time he says it on the D. Yeah, right. I'm not really talking about. I wasn't really talking about him saying it, like the character saying it for the last time. I was talking about the actor playing it for the last time in this. Like this is the last time he's playing this character. This is the final season of Picard. The guy is like 197 years old. You know what I mean? Like he's not coming back for this character again, right? I mean, he could. I mean, I guess he could.
He could. In fact, he said he wants to. If you guys remember from Comic-Con, all of a sudden it was like,
That's right.
I thought it was hilarious because you got Kurtzman
I would
saying,
like to do movies. And
no,
Kurtzman's like,
so funny. You got him and Kurtzman are on stage together. And Kurtzman's basically saying, this is it. This is the last voyage. And then you got Patrick Stewart going, well, I'd be okay with making some movies. Right. And then you see Kurtzman's face is kind of like, God dang it, this old guy won't shut up.
Patrick.
So let's just put it this way. We will not tell you if Picard dies, because we will not ruin episode 10 for you. But I do think no matter what they decide to do, they handle it correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. All right. So as we speak, all of Starfleet is gathered at Frontier Day. Okay. So everyone that was telling me, like, doesn't this seem like a Matt Gatiss specifically? It's like, doesn't this seem like a tactical error? Why would the whole fleet gather at the same time? I was like, yeah. And are you trying to get me to spoil it for you, bro? This was the intention. It was a tactical error. That was the point of this. This was all planned.
Yeah. And when we get to that point, it's going to be really interesting as to why. So from Kenneth LaRoque, thank you so much, buddy, for the super chat here. The $5.50.
The Borg are one. They should know where every other Borg is. Oh,
that's right. Well said. So if they're connected, then they should know where each other are. So that's a good point.
That's a good point.
Slayer Santiago, $5. Thank you so much. Paramount rebuilding the TNG bridge set is really epic. I really hope they have plans to use it for future shows. Would love a proper TNG season 8. Oh God, wouldn't we all? Yeah, huge shout out to Dave Blass, who hopefully is watching this. We communicate with him on Twitter, and he's a really great guy. They painstakingly made sure that every element of that bridge was exact. Right. They went back and looked at it. That's why Michael Akuta's back. That's why all these people are back, because they wanted it to be exact. And guess what, guys? It's exact.
Yeah, they knew there was going to be a ton of us super sweaty nerds. Like, excuse me, did you see the plant in the corner? It's about 3 inches to the left. You need to correct for that. I can feel their pain, bro.
Yeah, I will tell you the one thing that felt different about the shot was, to me, I never really sensed the walls on the sides of the when we get there, we'll look at it, but I really never sensed the walls in that way. And really looking at it like that, I had a different sense of the bridge in a way, right, but it all looked exactly the same. Yeah. So thank you for that super chat.
So what do we got here? We got the Enterprise F.
Oh, okay, you're too far. Go back. You went too far.
What?
Okay,
no,
go back. Yes. So the next shot, and then stop right at the thingy, because there's a lot to say before you show anything else.
Right here?
Okay. Yeah, stop it right there. That's great.
Okay.
It's really important. Let's do these super chats real quick before we do it.
Okay, so I'm trying to, you're pushing the super chat. I'm trying to filter them in as we're going through the review.
I know, but these are things we've already talked about.
Okay.
I just don't want to go too, you know what I'm saying?
All right, Christopher Mays, if I wanted to knit the Picard receiver DNA stuff, wouldn't that have made him susceptible to Borg control in First Contact? I mean, I think it did, though, because like in First Contact, he was like seeing crazy visions, and he was not 100%.
Yeah, but I think, could the Borg have taken control of him? I think that him and Jack are different types of Borg receivers. I don't know if they could take back control of Picard based on, and also they mentioned that it took years of, basically Jack was born with it, so he's almost got it in a little bit of a different way, and it had to like mature through him all these years. So
maybe the the forced DNA didn't take as much. I don't know. Dan Candy, the Titan's skeleton crew sure got better after last week's massacre.
Yeah, that is something that's a good point. There's not a lot of people on that ship, but they seem to have enough to get done what they need to get done. Good point, though.
Okay, what's going on in this scene?
Okay, and do you want to do the bugs one more, because you were talking bees?
What bugs?
Arvel Whitaker, bugs use pheromones. I had a wasp that kept coming back over and over again, even though I knocked its nest down.
Sorry, where are you seeing that?
Super chat after the last one, after Dan's.
That's weird. I don't see that.
Okay, well, I'll just give it here. So what he was saying is we were asking about how bugs talk to each other, and he's saying they use pheromones.
Oh,
so that's cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
So
and then from Joey,
so they can smell.
Yeah, I
Well,
guess
hold up on the Joey stuff. Let's go forward. We can get to that. I'm trying to pepper him in, bro.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is really important here. Can you get rid of the 5 and the 7 really quick?
Make my life hard.
So we can see this here?
Yeah. 1 second.
Sorry. Okay. Woman over comm space dock. This is NCC 1701-F.
Yes.
What ship is that?
The Enterprise F.
The Enterprise F. That's right. So we get our first introduction to the Enterprise F. And guess who's in charge of it? It's Admiral Shelby.
Fitting.
Now, do you guys remember? Yes. Do you remember Admiral Shelby?
Admiral Shelby. It's very fitting that she is in charge of the.
Yes, it is very fitting because Admiral Shelby, of course, was one of the important characters in Best of Both Worlds, which was the episode where, Jean-Luc Picard is taken by the Borg, becomes Locutus. She's kind of part of this whole thing. And her and Riker have this back and forth that's very interesting. And she's an important character in all this. So it just seems really appropriate to have her back now, kind of in charge of things and having the Borg here. And she's a part of this. Riker says it here in a moment, which I think is very interesting, is that Riker basically says, doesn't she see that this is very hive-minded, what she's done here with the entire fleet, and them being able to communicate with each other and basically be automated, so based on each other. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it's super rad. And we got a super chat from Joey. I almost don't want to see the next episode. This cliffhanger is so perfect. I could live with it forever.
Yeah, there's a part. Joey. Yeah. It'll never end if they don't finish it, right, Joey? I feel that.
Yeah.
This is a nice homage to Enterprise, the TV show Enterprise. She talks about NX-01, first warp 5 capable vessel. And what's cool about it, she talks about it in this really passionate, loving way. It isn't just a mention. It's like, something to be really proud of. And to be honest with you, Enterprise hasn't gotten a lot of pride, the TV show, really at all in Star Trek since it went off the air. This is like the first, like, almost embrace of Enterprise, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we had like a statue of it in one of the previous episodes, but yeah, this was the first time like they actually just say it out there. It's nice.
They honor it. I'll take that upvote too. I really love that Enterprise is getting some love on this show. So appreciate Terry doing that.
Yeah, and I feel like the Enterprise needs to be finished properly, Terry. I'm just saying, Terry. If you get the chance to do it again, if you get the chance to like finish Enterprise, I know Scott Bakula would do it. I know I would.
Well, he wouldn't do Quantum Leap
because he's not doing because he's not doing Quantum Leap.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so these. Can you pause real quick? So here with the this is going to be something that's going to be complained about. The fireworks, right? So I'm sure everybody went, how are there fireworks in space? Right? Because if you don't have oxygen, you can't have fire, right? And so it's very interesting because I went ahead and looked it up. I'm like, okay, well, what could you have? So apparently you can have fireworks in space as long as you have some sort of an oxidizer available. So it actually in the future, it could have been set up so that there's some sort of like liquid hydrogen or liquid oxygen inside of the fireworks to cause this kind of light display. So it is possible that they've developed something in the future.
I mean, you can see that. You can see the trail of like the shuttles, the comets. You can see things interacting in space. Like this wouldn't have been.
Well, that's light off. Okay, no. Well, what you see from the comets is not made from the comet. That's light reflecting off of the sun,
off the tail, right? But like, okay, so when the shuttle, like when the actual shuttles are coming in and out of the atmosphere, you can see stuff. Like
like when it's burning, yeah, because there's oxygen. I'm just saying this is something that people are complaining about. So, and it's true. You're right. You don't have traditional. You can't have just traditional fireworks in space. If you take a look at some of these images, you'll see it's more cloudy than it is actual explosions. So I just know that's something people are going to complain about. And I wanted to find if there was, was it wrong or was there an actual way this could have happened? And apparently, according to science, it is definitely something that could have happened. So.
All right. In no way did it take me out of it, but okay. From Dustin Cole for $2, it looks different because of aspect ratio.
Oh, good point. He was talking about the D.
Yeah. I thought the same.
Okay. That's a good point, actually. I didn't think about that.
I love me some proper aspect ratio. You know that, Shane.
I do know that.
Yeah, what if they're holographic projection fireworks?
That's a good point.
And there's that phaser.
There it is. Okay, so there's the phaser, dude. And I wish if you can make me disappear for a second, we can see it. I love that you get this shot, this side view, and it looks really like. I wonder if we could pull up an old TOS phaser. We're looking at it here. Here's one. Hold on. Oh, there it is. I mean, okay, so the old TOS phasers don't have like the lit side like that, where it's lit up. But I gotta tell you, it is damn close.
He customized his with a gamer RGB. That is.
I love it. There's no way to pull it up. I wish I could.
It's more powerful with RGB. That's the rule. So yeah, it looks like an old phaser to me.
I should send you an image of it so you can share it, huh?
All right.
Well, later on, if you want to, I just sent it to you.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, we'll have the review. All right, here we go.
No, it's appropriate that Riker is the one kind of smack talking her a little bit, because he's the one that, he and her kind of rubbed each other the wrong way, and she was kind of almost a threat to his leadership, I think, during those episodes of TNG, because she was really intelligent and she was kind of taking charge, and but they worked it out in the end.
Yeah. All right. So you want to explain what's happening?
Well, so they're basically showing this demonstration. They have the entire fleet, and what they've done is they've set it up so that the entire fleet, all the ships, can talk to each other automatically and become automated to be a better defensive measure against anybody attacking the Federation.
Right.
So the ships basically work as one, which ideally makes a lot of sense.
Like a collective.
If you think about Nova Corps, what's that?
By the way, Shane totally accidentally spoiled this like 3 episodes ago.
I did?
Yes. When like episode 3 or 4, when they were talking about Frontier Day, it was the one with Geordi. They're like, yeah, we they don't like the fact that the ships were networked. You're like a collective, right? And I'm like,
oh, you're right, but I didn't mean it like that. Like, I didn't mean it as a spoiler, but it just came off the top of my head. I wasn't even thinking of the episode, but you're right. It was. I
remember thinking, okay, move on quickly.
Because it was, you're right. Because I said, oh, what do you mean, like a collective, right? And I'm like, I had totally forgot. And you're right, that was my bad.
We got a super chat from Crazy Ghostbusters. The changelings may have made themselves a target by using the Borg. If the Borg know about the shape-shifting abilities, the Borg might invade the Dominion space in the future. What do you think? Can the Borg assimilate the changelings?
We don't know.
Yeah, I guess
we've never seen it. But what do they say? We're going to take your unique distinctiveness into our own.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, the changelings are similar to the Borg, at least in the fact that they can become one.
Yeah, like and they share some kind of link too, right?
Yeah, you're right. Well, the changelings have their own mental link when they're linked up. Now they have to be actually physically linked in order for that to happen. But the Borg have this other ability. So it says the Borg might invade the Dominion space in the future. I mean, based on the Borg and how the Borg work, their whole goal is to take everything over, right? So right. I don't know why they would let the Dominion survive.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, sir. All right. So now they're crashing the party. So talk to me here. We're back with Jack. And he is sussing out the queen.
Yep, here it is. She calls him her child. And of course, he's basically come to, you can see the look on his face. That's such great acting by Ed Speleers. He's emotionally compromised, and she tells him, if you were going to kill me, you would have already done it.
And he tries.
He kind of does. I mean, he looks like he wants to do it, but she tells him that almost as if he can't do it.
Yeah, he can't. His hands were shaking. He was trying.
And of course, when he hears that, it makes him realize that all is lost. Essentially,
yeah, look at his hands. Like he's trying. He's trying to shoot her.
He just can't.
He wants to, but he can't.
Something inside of him His Borgness is not allowing him to do it.
Yep. Here comes the thing.
Yeah, this was a hard moment, man. It was hard to hear that thing go into the back of his neck.
And your struggle, my child. Resistance is futile.
Love that. And his eyes go black. It was like, oh gosh,
rad, bro.
It was like, it breaks your heart.
Up vote for me, bro. I love that.
Me too.
Up vote for you too. And we got a super chat from T Stoney. Remember, Adama refused to allow Galactica to be integrated and networked either. A lesson that still applies. Yeah.
Amen. Absolutely. Thank you, Adama. Saved Battlestar.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to have that good old fashioned. What do they call it? Airlocking or whatever between, sensitive computers. You need them to be air gapped so that people can't just hack in.
Yeah, well, the virus in Battlestar Galactica came from being connected to the internet.
Right.
So, yeah.
Or the network, yeah.
Yeah, the network.
This is Starfleet code.
Okay, so this is where we learn how they've been able to do this. This is the part I
couldn't explain for so long. Why?
Yeah, you do it. You do it.
Everyone was like, why not use the teleporter for this? Why about this? Look, guys, all the teleporter chiefs were all changelings.
Right.
It's like they were all changelings. This is why Ro wouldn't use the teleporters. This is why all those teleporter shenanigans were going on, because the changelings were in charge of the teleporters and they were using them to alter the DNA of Starfleet personnel so that they would be susceptible to Jack.
Yeah. So do you want to explain how they were doing it?
With the transporter system.
Yeah, but how they did it? Do you want to explain how they...
You mean like the science behind the...
Yeah, like can you explain how they did it? You're saying the transporter system. What did they do?
Oh, they modified their DNA.
Right. So every time somebody would beam in or out, they would add the Borg genetic code that they got from Picard, right? That's why they took the pieces of his body.
Right.
And they would use that altered DNA and instill a little bit in each of the Starfleet people that came into it.
Right.
And that's how they were able to do it.
Which was super rad.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool me too. The whole creative process of we asked who figured out the transporters, and nobody will give up exactly who that was of the writers, but whoever came up with that was genius.
And right now, McCoy is smiling. I told you, suckers. Stop using the transporters. From Southpaw, when they boarded the D, I was instantly a kid again. Great job paying tribute to the legacy. Any chance 10 is an extended episode? Great stream, guys. It is an extended episode.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if you guys missed earlier, when you think it's over, it's not over. And then when you think it's over again, it's not over. Okay, there's 3 endings to that sucker.
True.
Like I said, that's not a spoiler. Just don't stop watching until you see white text on black screen. That's all I gotta tell you.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler. No, that's pay attention.
Yeah. And from Darity Nerity, I like that. Darity Nerity. That's great. I wanna use your nickname. I guess Admiral Hansen was right. Riker was hurting his career by holding back and not becoming a captain a lot earlier than he did, as Shelby is now an admiral and Riker is still a captain.
Well said, Dirty Nerdy. Yeah, that was the advice. Because, of course, they didn't want to break up our Enterprise crew. Will didn't want to leave Picard.
Right.
But he needed to.
But he probably should have. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they're there. They're trying to warn Shelby, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
So he manages to he ends up making the call out. They show up, makes the call out, and Shelby's like, "What?
What are you talking about, Picard?" And then the comms go dead. This is when it gets crazy. What happens, sir? All the comms are down. Massive energy spike. From where?
Where's that energy spike coming from?
Upvote! Upvote! This is where it's coming from, baby. Look at that. Oh, look at that. It looks so good. It looks great. I love these graphics. Beautiful.
Describe it, or where's it coming from?
At the Borg cube.
So it must be closer than you realize.
Right. And look in the background, formation mode. All the ships go into formation mode.
Right.
Because they're networked like a collective.
Which we get to see visually in a second.
Right. Super rad. All right. And then they start figuring out, this is the great. Another upvote from me. This is so good.
Yeah, this is really, I love this.
They're trying to talk to Mira. And what's going on?
Well, we have what happens is Seven's having a problem, right? You can see her, she's touching her implant, she's struggling, and they said, what's wrong, Seven? And she says, it's a Borg transmission. So that's what you saw the engine turning up. And now we're seeing the result.
Right.
Mira is turning into a Borg.
Look at this. That's beautiful. And
it's so
I like how it's not like the classic Borg, though. It's like, it's different. It's like,
well, it has to be, because there's no way for them to, take on any connective devices.
Right.
They don't have that. They're not on the Borg cube, or they're not, I guess they could start taking it from the Enterprise or the Titan itself.
No, my Sydney.
Yeah. But because of their DNA and the way the DNA is done, it's kind of a little bit different type of assimilation.
So, yeah, so both of the Forge sisters, basically everyone under a certain age.
25, yeah.
25. And they figured out that I guess it just doesn't work for the old cats.
At 25, at 25, your brain, your frontal lobe stops changing.
Right. It was funny, though. Shaw was like, why is it happening to me? Or something like that. And Seven's like, we're judging by the gray in your beard, boss.
Yeah. That was great.
Yep. And this was great. This was another upvote for me. I'm sorry, a lot of upvotes at the very end here because this is all good. When Geordi's like, no, I have to save my daughters, and Data's like, stop. We need a plan.
Yeah.
Like Data, I hate to say it, this is a better version of Data.
It's taken a little getting used to.
Right.
And I do like it, but it is different, and I do like, when push comes to shove in the end, Data got his full come around.
Right.
I mean, he's not truly human, but he does get to a place where we would have loved to see this character be able to experience. So yeah, I'm very happy for him.
Yeah. And do what? We need a plan. He stops. He's comforting and helping his friend. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh man. This is
all of our bridge crew, which we've come to adore, is being assimilated, and it's terrifying.
Right. And this is when Riker says we need to get off the Titan before it's too late. And coming up pretty soon, guys, is going to be the hardest upvote of my life.
It says here the reason why is the Titan is being controlled remotely, so they lost control of the Titan because of this ship, fleet-wide thing.
Yeah, look at the USS Excelsior. Apparently, wasn't being controlled, so they just blew the sucker up.
Well, they managed to wrestle control away, and once that was realized, then they destroyed it.
That's wild. Look at these names real quick. I don't want to get off topic here, but really cool. The USS Hakura Sulu.
That's so great. The Sulu, yep.
The USS Cochrane.
Yep.
Right? And we've seen the Intrepid before, right? The Magellan. I love that.
That's great, yep.
Trumbull.
Where's the Akuta? Look at the Akuta down there.
Oh, yeah.
The USS Akuta from Michael Akuta.
These are all really cool Easter eggs.
The Gilgamesh from the Bible, the biblical times.
Christopher May is giving me 3 upvotes for Shelby getting taken out. She's the worst. Okay, boss, you asked for it. There's your 3 upvotes.
Wait, are you and Chris voting, doing it together here? What's going on?
Listen, Chris wants me to upvote. I'm going to upvote. Okay.
All right. This is how you.
I feel like it was fitting that Shelby was there, but I never really liked her character, so I didn't feel anything.
When you give Brian money, you can control his vote. I love that.
That's not true. I'm not a shill, Shane.
You are. You just shilled for Christopher.
Well, no, I'm a shill for my fans.
There's nothing wrong with that. You should be a shill.
Sure.
You should be a shill for your fans.
Lazy Hog for 99 cents. Thank you, Lazy Hog.
Thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Okay, yeah. So I love this though. I love that the Excelsior And of course, it's the Excelsior.
Hey, can you remove us? They're saying the Pulaski's there. I don't see it. There's the Drexler. Doug Drexler. It's awesome that some of these great VFX specialists and people who've brought us so much Trek.
I'm looking for the Pulaski. I don't see
We've got the Venture.
I see the Drexler.
The Furswood.
I see the Akuta.
The Trumbull. They're off to the right up here in the corner. I guess we can't see it, but there is something, a ship up there.
I'm sure. Well, all right. Maybe it's there. All right. No, but I love this, guys. First off, I love that's the Excelsior. The Excelsior has always been that one ship that we never really got to see much of, right? Mm-hmm. But they were always doing their job. I love that's the Excelsior that got the control back first, and then showed how dangerous that really was. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so they gotta get off the ship.
Oh. Yeah, they're going to eliminate all of the unassimilated. This is a great shot here. I love how, unlike Picard season 1, there's a bunch of different looking ships here. Not all the same ship.
Are you saying that maybe it's not a good idea to copy and paste 3D models onto a screen?
Well, you should not do that. Yeah, it's not believable. Star Trek fans will know.
Right. That's why you shouldn't do that, because Star Trek fans will know. Right. Immediately they will know. Andre Benson, Star Trek zombies that shoot you. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
and the USS Gilgamesh, a nod to Darmok, I believe. Oh, that would be cool.
Oh, Darmok and Jalad, the Gilgamesh. Yeah, that makes sense.
And Jalad.
Good one, Mr. Stefford.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the formation looks really rad. Everything. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, I love this.
Oh, so you get Borg language.
It's the perfect molecule, man. And I've never been so happy to see so many wrinkles.
That's great.
All right. So coming up here, the hardest upvote of my life is coming up, man. Oh, okay. No, this is an easy upvote. This was so good. Okay, this was so good that I'm gonna risk a copyright claim. I'm gonna play it for you guys.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just too good. It's too good not to play it. Ready, guys? Let me get that.
I hope we die quickly.
Get us there.
What makes you think there hasn't already been destroyed?
Data, could you try being a little more positive?
I hope we die quickly.
So good.
I'll take that upvote too.
I'm upvoting hard, bro. I hope we die quickly.
That's great.
Oh man, it's great. All right, so they're trying to get out of there. Oh, but shut up.
Oh, okay, go back. Gotta go back a little bit. We gotta talk about this. This is important. So
yeah,
they're trying to get off the ship. There's only one shuttle available. There's really no way to show this, huh?
I'm gonna figure it out. 1 second.
Obviously, so what's coming is Captain Shaw is going to die. And as we alluded to earlier, I don't think the people who created this show really believed that Shaw was going to be that beloved of a character. Like, he served a really good purpose. He was the kind of character we needed to kind of play against, Picard and Riker and everything going on. I just don't think they realized that we were going to fall in love with him. So when they decided to get rid of the character, they really wanted to give him a good ending. Because, Todd Stashwick's a great guy. It's a good character. And how did he make it? So if you go back to Wolf 359, he was the one randomly chosen to be saved,
yes.
Right?
Oh, it's so
and there was only one escape pod available, right? And here he is now, because he wasn't able to save his friends then. He's saving his friends now by standing and being the one that stays behind while they get away.
Oh, it's so powerful.
Dude, upvote me 2 times, bro.
Oh, it's so powerful.
It's so, like, if he's got to go, like, this is the way to go.
And they got him. They get him, and he's dying. And then when he says, like, he calls her 7 of 9.
He calls her 7 of 9, bro. I mean, come on. Everybody who was upset about that, I mean, come on. It's the perfect moment. Like, it's the perfect moment for this character.
He says, "You have the con." Oh, bro. Oh, I'm not crying. You're crying. Oh, it's so powerful. So he's finally able to save his friends that he couldn't do way back then. And then that moment where he's like, "You have the con, 7 of 9. God.
Yeah, it's not my ship anymore. I was really, really emotional, man.
Look, I have theories on how he returns. I will express them after the review. Don't go anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, we can't forget about that. That's good.
Yeah, can't forget about that because I got serious theories. Big downvote for Shaw died, not Rafi.
Hey, you got to do it. You got to do it.
All right. Christopher Mays has spoken.
Christopher, you are like the Borg. You're like Jack controlling Brian.
You got me,
with
Chris.
his votes.
You got me, buddy.
I hope your pockets are deep, sir. Because you could take this thing off the cliff.
All right. So they're on the shuttle, and this is when we finally go to Hangar Bay. Hold up, before we go there.
Finally.
From Residual Prime. I had to watch the scene again when I noticed they weren't with the rest of the crew on the D bridge. Rafi and Seven stayed behind on the Titan.
Yes, they did. And I think there's a good reason for that, obviously. And thank you for that super chat. I mean, they wanted the moment where the TNG crew is back on together on the bridge. And that's why that was done.
Right. Christopher Mays, downvote. Rafi outlived Shaw. Okay. All right, man. Call the problem.
I'm going to upvote the fact that Christopher Mays has control over you.
Listen, the reason why they're on the Titan was because it's her ship. She's the captain of that ship now.
That's right. That's right.
That's her crew, and they're not dead. They're not like dead. She needs to be there when they have the ability to help them. She needs to be able to help them. T. Stoney, if they even have that. I say it again, Liam Shaw, the people's captain.
Amen.
So good. And here we go. Hangar Bay 12, finally. Finally.
I've been waiting. So Jordy's spent years. Oh, so great. It's
the Enterprise D. Oh, you guys don't even know. Like, I mean, you probably do. But I was losing it. I don't even know. I reached up and I'm like, why? What is going on right now?
What is this leakage from my face?
I didn't expect for a computer model to do this to me. The model of a fictional ship was like was breaking my insides, bro.
When that ship went down during Generations, it broke my heart. You know, when the saucer section crashed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the D is one of those ships. Other than like the original Star Trek ship, I think the D is obviously my favorite. And this is just so wonderful. Getting the reactions, the looks on me. This is the part that I rewound 7 times after the show was over last night. And I just kept rewinding it and watching it over and over and over again, because this is the moment you had to have watching the show. Like, if you're saying goodbye, the Enterprise D is a character on TNG. Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been right not to have that character back as well.
Yeah. That's a good point. So the ships are characters to a lot of these people. Like, even Enterprise, the NX-01 is part of the crew, right? It's a character to us.
Yeah.
The ship matters to us. The original Enterprise mattered to us. The Enterprise D really mattered to us, right? Voyager, that weird shaped, beautiful ship, mattered to us. This is also a reason I always put DS9 as like the bottom of my list, because I wasn't attached to the space station the way I was attached to these ships.
That's a good point.
It didn't feel
but you
the
like
same.
the Defiance.
But when the Defiant came around, now the Defiant's a character.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
right.
Which is coincidentally probably why they added the Defiant.
Maybe, yeah. And then also you've got this really great scene. So Data actually has emotions. Like, he's having an emotion over And that's not something that Data would have had before. And so Deanna tells him, of course, you're not alone, Data.
Hey, no money G for $2. Never thought I'd say it. I wanted the big D. You never change.
Dirty.
Never change, no money. I love it.
Awesome.
I wanted the big D too, bro. All right. So Geordi explains that basically he was saving it as a surprise. Obviously, we can't use the Enterprise E. This is the line.
I love this. The timing of this is so good. It gets a little uncomfortable. If you go forward, you can have it paused. LeVar Burton's face looks like this.
So
right, his face looks like this.
So you have this moment where we're all emotional at seeing this ship again, and then they hit you with this line,
right?
And it's like an emotional roller coaster of laughter, and it's really good.
And they're all standing next to it. There's next shot. If you go forward just a touch, there's this next shot where
Enterprise E.
He says, you see Worf and everybody. Oh, and LeVar's going to be behind you. But basically, there's this pause. They kind of look over at each other, look over at Worf, and then he's like, "That was not my fault."
That was not
it's
my
like
fault.
this look, right there. Look at Geordi's face. It's great. Oh, I love it.
That was not my fault. I know for a fact though, like we have friends that are like really into ships that right now are like, that's it. They're losing their minds over this.
That is it for the E. The E is not the hero of this show, but
No.
I'm sure the E will have its day.
Yeah, so he was gonna save the D as a surprise, but considering it's this, the circumstance, he's showing it to him early.
Okay, I need an upvote here. You've got
me too.
You've got the coming out of the turbo lift, bro. When you see them coming out that turbo lift, it's like the turbo lift is like it's the front door of the house, right? For us, when we're watching TNG, that's the first thing you see when they're coming in, and it's like I had this moment where I'm like, I had these like backflow of memories. Of how many episodes did we see someone coming out of that turbo lift onto the bridge?
Yeah.
And it was just a really wonderful thing. Did I upvote that right now?
You did.
Okay.
And Kayla Aldapi for $5. I cried when I heard Majel Barrett again as a computer on the Enterprise D. Yep.
Yeah, Majel. Oh, so awesome.
So now can we please address the elephant in the room? Everyone asking Terry why he didn't use Majel Barrett's voice on the Titan.
Well, I don't know.
People kept asking him that, and they're like,
"Oh, that's true.
Are you not aware that there was a library for Majel Barrett?" And every time he was just saying, he was like, "Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, bro."
It wouldn't have been as impactful.
Yes, it wouldn't have been as impactful if he used Majel Barrett's voice on the other ships and then here too. And
right.
The thing is, people start losing their minds at like the first episode when they haven't seen anything yet. Like, I totally get like being critical. I understand that. And I understand being critical after a few episodes. But I feel like you got to give it a shot to shake out. And I understand there's some showrunners that have a history of never delivering on promises. That's different. But Terry didn't. And the restraint that dude had with the hundreds of people complaining about not using Majel Barrett's voice. The whole time I'm just reading Twitter like, this man, he's gonna crack. This guy's gonna crack really soon. So like hundreds of people asking about it, dude.
Well, what was the common word? What do we tell everybody? Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Keep watching. Yeah.
Oh, I just love this whole scene here. Oh, look at this. It's just so, I mean, the seats, the lighting, the con. Oh, I just love this so much. Please give me 2 upvotes.
All right.
Just so I can imagine Worf standing back up there behind the,
yep.
I see everybody.
From Deadfly, I watched this episode twice, one after another. Dudes, can't tell you how emotional I got seeing this ship again and seeing the cast on the bridge. Yeah, me too, bro.
You're so right, Deadfly.
I couldn't. It was like I'm a grown man, and like this moment was really, it was getting me. It was like it was taking me back, right back to being like 17 years old. You know.
I love how they pan around this all the shots here in this on the bridge. They pan around, they give us every angle. I mean, it's like when a brand new sports car comes out and they give you like every angle and all the side shots and everything. It's just Terry and everybody did such a good job of making sure we saw it. I mean, he gives it 5 minutes.
Yeah, he gives it a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really, I mean, you have to.
He knew what he was doing. It's like, here you go.
Yeah.
Guys. Here you go.
Well, it's what he wanted to see.
Here you go. Come here, little nerds. I got something for you. Come here.
And he wanted to see it. I mean, part of this, you guys got to realize, part of this is he wanted it.
Right.
You know, he made it, but he's getting just as much enjoyment out of making it come to life as we would, as we are right now. It's like he's feeling the same thing.
And how many of us out there, if they had the money, would turn their living room into that bridge?
All of us.
Yeah. If I had the money, my living room would not be a couch. It would be that bridge. Right. Identically. Maybe a couple more chairs, but pretty much that bridge.
And Star Trek playing on loop on the front display.
A moment that will live in Trek history forever from Brian Harvard. Thank you, Brian Harvard. And you are right. This is the moment that you're going to see for a long time. And I hope it's not the last big moment, we see for a long time. I hope Paramount gets their crap together and understands what they've done here is so remarkably special that to just go back to business as usual, in the 47th century or whatever, I don't care, is so underwhelming.
You know what's bitching is the next time you watch TNG from season 1 to season 7, you're going to get to the end of season 7 and then you're going to pop on Picard season 3.
Yes. And that's exactly what I'll do. Next time I binge watch TNG, I'm literally going to go TNG, the movies. I'm going to go TNG, the movies, and then boom.
Yeah.
So great. I'm going to skip Insurrection though. I'm not going to.
Don't we always skip Insurrection?
Yeah, we always skip Insurrection. There's literally no need to watch that movie ever again. From Mr. Strefford, cannot explain how emotional this scene is for me. Yeah. I feel like words don't properly explain how important this was. It was so unbelievably important to us. All right. Let me just make sure that Shane didn't completely go off the rails here. Oh yeah, lost Shane. I'm sure I'll come back. Give me a second, guys. We'll continue the review in a minute. Shane is having technical difficulty, it appears. Oh, well, he's coming back. I can show you the phaser. Look at this. So this is the old school TOS phaser, guys. Huh. Yeah. That's pretty much Jack's phaser, but Jack has that sweet RGB package that makes it go faster. That's cool. Yeah, Shane's having some computer problems. He'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. He had to restart. And we're just going to pause this live stream for a second. Pause not the live stream, the review, but give him a few minutes. He'll be right back. I know he wouldn't want to miss the rest of this, so. Yeah, all right, so we're waiting for Shane. People, the way they brought Data back, at first for me felt like sort of like a stretch, but then I was like, oh wait, no, it works. It's acceptable. And the fact that he has all the other characters in him, that would explain why he has the correct memories. Okay, everything works. All right, why bring the Enterprise D back? We all would love to see that, but how would you do that narratively so that it makes sense? Here it is. Narratively, all these big fancy updated ships are all connected. The one project ship back in the back is old enough. It's old. It's not in service anymore. It wasn't connected. It works. It's not just a reason. It's not just like a fan service reason to give us the ship again, but it's a fan service reason that fits in the narrative, and so it's a good story and it gives us fan service, and that's the best kind. Like when you can tell a good story and give the fans what they want, it really works. And that's why I was saying about the Borg again. Like I hate to continually talk about this, but I do not feel as if I ever got a proper conclusion to the Borg. I didn't. Seasons 1 and season 2 were just teasing. Like it was just teasing. It was bad, masquerading copies of what the Borg could be or should be. And finally we got it. And honestly, since Voyager ended, I want to know what's up with the Borg. Did she wipe them all out with the virus? What about the ones in other transwarp conduits? Like, it's not like she killed all the Borg in one shot. Here we are. So it's very important for me to get to the end of the conclusion, because my favorite villain in Star Trek was probably the Borg. I know they were overused, for sure, but they were still narratively a really cool villain that I don't feel got the proper due once the show ended, in my opinion. From Chris McIntyre. The only way the Enterprise leaving space dock scene could have been better is as when she banked up and turned, she passed the NX-01 and the NCC-01. Yeah. Bro. The NCC 1701-A. That would have been cool if it banked and it rolls past and you see the parked NX-01. Yeah, I don't think did we get to see the NX-01 in the beginning in episode 6? No, we didn't, right? I don't remember. I think we saw a lot of really cool ships. Shane's back. 1 second, Shane. Welcome back, Shane.
It's good to be back. Any computer doctors in the house?
Yeah, Shane's got this weird thing. Like, it only happens on our show. It doesn't happen on Raw Rant, which means it's probably a memory issue.
Yeah, but it has to have something to do with the software we're using. But sorry about that, guys. We're back now and almost there. It's like making me leave in the middle of like the climax moment.
I know.
Of sex. Just not cool.
Wow. Calm down, bud.
That's kind of what it is. It's Star Trek sex right now, isn't it?
All right. You're just edging.
That's true.
For $5. I hate ST9 because during the Dominion War, the flagship is used as a removals van when the film should have been the TNG war story.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I that's a problem with DS9 for me. I felt like some of the stuff that should have gone to TNG went to DS9. And I like DS9, but I didn't like as much of the shows because it wasn't on the ship. And I know it sounds weird, but like I know it was on a space station, but they weren't really moving. They had a lot of episodic content, but a lot of it was also non-episodic, and it just didn't.
Well, it changed after the first couple seasons, and it became more of a soap opera, which was different for the time. It was not normal.
Casual trucker for $2. How did you feel when you heard Alice Creek? Yeah, dude, great. That's my Borg queen.
Yeah,
that's
immediately
her.
recognizable.
Immediately, I recognized it. Okay.
Like getting shot in the heart. Oh,
All right, so here we are. We're on the ship. And there, oh, look at this. Hello, chair. Look at this.
It's Data.
Oh.
Such a Data thing to do, you know. I love it.
Oh, I love this. And there's the computer. What a beautiful scene. I wish I could play this, like the audio for you guys. But...
Well, you know what's weird is just about Data really quick. Like during Generations, I actually hated the emotion chip.
Oh yeah.
It bothered me. I didn't.
Yeah, it bothered me too.
It really, really bothered me. And it's like, it was like such a difference. And, you know, there was really no, I don't know. I just didn't like it. But for some reason I like this. So it's like hard to like, because I think it's more smoothed over. It's not as overacting or overreaction. And plus I think the emotion chip made Data worse back in Generations, not better.
But to be fair, I don't think it was supposed to work.
I mean, it was meant for...
No, I know, but I don't think it was ever supposed to work properly. It was supposed to be like a story point or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what I think.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. Weapons are ready, although they are limited.
I love how he keeps saying, I like the E better.
Make it so. Eyes in the back at the helm. They're at the helm. They're in their chairs.
There it is. Engage.
Engage. Oh.
Give me that upvote, baby.
I'm not voting too. You know what? I'm gonna try to play this without getting flagged. Let me see if I can play it. Hold up, guys. Okay, so first off, this right here. Look at this. Look at this. It's the whole crew in their positions.
Great. Just love it.
Hell of a thing, dude. All right, let me see if I can play this. There we go. Okay, I'm going to play it. I'm going to do it. Here we go.
Engage.
You got to hear it. It felt good. Felt strong.
Yeah. If I play just a little bit, Joey, I can get away with it. All right. And there's the ship. There's the ship. About to go to warp. Oh, what a sexy thing this is.
Gorgeous.
And
then boom, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Wow. What an episode, guys. What an episode.
I feel like I just went on a roller coaster again. So first off, hell of an episode. Look at our score. 15 to 17. That's a solid 16. That is the highest score we've ever given a single show on this channel. Whatever show we've ever reviewed, that's the highest score.
That's true. You're right.
So, all right, let's wrap up some our thoughts, and then we'll go into our theories. This episode and episode 10 are one movie. They're together. And they're going to be playing together in IMAX for that reason. Like, they're one big story.
Yeah.
So if you like this episode, you're going to love next episode because it's going to be the conclusion to everything, but specifically this episode. We learned a lot. We learned a ton. The Borg is the big bad. We know what's going on with Jack. So what's the goal? The goal is to save Starfleet.
That's it.
So you got the old crew back on the D, and they got to go against insurmountable odds. Once again, got to save the galaxy.
Yes. That's what it is. Some people are like, some people keep saying, why is it always they got to save the Federation? It's always they got to save the Federation. Like, people complain, why do they always got to save Starfleet? Because that's what it always is. If you go back to all of the big movies, they're always saving, there has to be consequences that are worth something, especially at the end of TNG when you're wrapping up the big story.
Of course.
Yeah, there has to be heavy consequences. Now, if you go back to Picard season 1, I know we keep kind of hammering on it, but those Mass Effect aliens, that's kind of OP. Or you go back to Discovery and creatures outside of the solar system are destroying our soul. It's just kind of a weird thing. You're right. It's really big. This is not that big. This is not galaxy destruction big, but it is the Alpha Quadrant. It is Starfleet, and it is the people, the things that we love. And there has to be consequences for us to believe it and be, fearful for our crew. So,
well, this is also not a brand new villain that we'd never heard of before. This is a conclusion to 9 seasons of television, 9 seasons and 2 movies, or 1 movie at least.
Well, 7. This is okay. Are you counting all of Picard?
No.
TNG had 7 seasons.
No, I was counting other. I'm sorry, I'm not just counting TNG, but like.
Oh, okay.
This is a chapter in the grand story of the Borg in Star Trek across all Star Trek. Like, this isn't the C-10 aliens that we've never heard of before in some other Beyond the Great Wall, whatever. This isn't the Burn. This isn't Mass Effect aliens we've never even heard of before in a dimension we've never even spoken about before. No one's ever touched on. This isn't new. This isn't some new threat that we have zero information about. This is a story this has been being told for 30 years or 25 years. This story's been being told for 25 years. We're
longer than that, but yeah.
How long? 30 years?
Yeah, well, since you got to figure the Borg came into season 2, season 3,
season 2.
So the Borg came in, that would have been 89. So you're looking at 34 years.
So over 30 years, we've been telling this story. We're in the end game now, boys.
And girls.
Yeah. I was quoting someone, but thank you, Shane. We're in the end game now.
You're always quoting someone.
This is the end game. Mm-hmm. This is it. It took a long time to get here. Thank God for Terry and his team to finally get us here. For the love of all that is good. Thank you, guys.
There's a lot of closure here, guys. That is a really good way to put it. A lot of closure we never really got. TNG didn't have a true ending. Voyager did.
Voyager got home. Didn't. Voyager got home.
Right.
Yeah. Andre Benson, the score. Thank you, Andre. The score really made the scene with the Enterprise D better. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Just took attention. You back there.
Pay attention, Disney. Use the music that people are emotionally connected to when you make your TV shows about your IP. If you're making a Star Wars TV show, use Star Wars music. No hard. I don't understand why it's such it feels like common sense to me, but I don't know. Ensign Ricky, as usual, they're the only ship in the sector. That's
right, baby.
That's a fact, Jack. Thank you, Ensign Ricky.
Apparently, we're the only ship in the sector, sir. That's right.
That was like the common theme. From Joe, from Late Night Trek. I will never need Blue Chew again. This thing won't go down. He's talking about Viagra, bro.
Well done.
That's good. Nice work, Joe. Always.
It's funny you knew what. It's funny, Joe, that you knew what the slang for that was. Just saying. Go ahead.
You know what, me?
No. Well, I guess both of you. Yeah. Now that I really think about it, you both knew it.
Yeah. Well, we're connected to the zeitgeist, the internet zeitgeist, Shane.
I've just never needed it.
Wow. I'm sorry, dude. Did I just get burned right now?
I don't know. You were burning me.
So. Joe. Ruse 321. Our crew is about to warp into a hostile situation, outnumbered 100-1. The situation appears hopeless, and I'm so hyped to see how they triumph.
Woo!
Yeah, baby.
That is the right answer.
Absolutely.
Right.
We're in the end game now. I love it.
Yeah, on other shows, you might be worried that they won't triumph, right? Maybe.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up the review, then we're gonna talk about theories. If you're watching this after the fact, then that's great. Hit that subscribe button in the way of the comment section, and get ready because next week, the last episode is gonna rock your socks off. Okay, let's talk about.
You're gonna be sitting there in front of your TV, and your sock's gonna fly off. And you're like,
It's
"What
gonna-
the hell just happened?"
Just gonna fly off, and Joe's erection
Kids
is
are gonna
gonna
scream.
Erection's gonna burst through his pants and break a wall. His wife's gonna be crying. All right, look, this is my. Yes, Endgame was Voyager. That's correct. We never got an Endgame. We're getting an Endgame. Anyways, this is my theory on Shaw. Okay. He's an old grease monkey from Chicago. He is like a wizard with mechanical stuff, right? He loves Geordi the Forge. He looks up to him. So, imagine this. We've never gotten this before, and I've always wondered why we didn't get it. We had an emergency medical hologram. But no emergency engineer.
Good point.
Consider this, Shane.
Mm-hmm.
How much trouble happens in engineering with the warp core that you can't go into without dying, or some caustic spill or a chemical, whatever. When an emergency engineer hologram makes almost more sense than an emergency medical hologram, because there are things that only a hologram can do.
I like the idea. I think the problem with engineering in a hologram is with sickbay, it's a very limited space. It's a small area. And so that made sense. Engineering really covers a large port of the ship. So you'd have to set up a lot of, the enhancers, what do you call it? The,
Yeah.
whatever those things are that allows the
hologram
projectors. Yeah. So you'd have to do that. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And that's definitely a great way to bring him back.
Yeah, and hate to bring up Picard season 1, but in Picard season 1, that guy had a bunch of holograms all over his ship. The captain.
It worked. That worked. Of Picard season 1, the Rios
stuff
stuff worked.
Yeah, it worked. Brian Harvard, I'm already feeling sad since that's it. It's over. It's not over yet. And I gotta tell you,
we get it.
We understand. I feel like this sense of like, it's weird because I feel happy and excited, but also like dread.
Right. That is the feeling that you know how when you're like, I know how to describe this. You know, when you're at Disneyland or you're at someplace fun and you're in the middle of having all that fun, but all you can seem to think about is like that the fun's going to be over soon and then it won't be fun anymore.
Right.
You ever had that experience?
Yeah.
That's what this is like.
It's like when you're at Disneyland, it's like 9:45, you know, the place closes at 10:30. You're like, one more ride.
Yeah, that's where we're at, right?
One more go at Space Mountain.
What we'd say, just keep enjoying it. Yeah, enjoy it while it's here, and then
Yeah, and don't turn it off when you get to the end of next episode.
Right.
Watch it until you see white text on a black screen. Yep. Yeah. It's something that Drew said here. Drew's been watching this for a while. Haven't seen Brian Shane this excited over a TV show in a while. Yeah, normally we're not. That's why everyone. I know. Yeah, I know who you are. That's atheist, Shane.
Well, this may be right. This may be the most excited I've been for a TV show since.
Yeah. Generally speaking, we're pretty salty.
I don't even know. How do you go back? I mean, where do I go back to say what was the last thing that was this good for me? The last time Star Trek was good, maybe? I don't know. I don't, yeah, I think it has to be.
Well, no, we got to have something that we liked a lot.
Maybe when Voyager ended? No, I don't think so. For me, I don't think so. I don't think there's any TV show in the last 20-something years that I've loved as much as this.
What about movies?
I'm not talking about movies. He's talking about TV shows.
Only TV shows.
I mean, of course, there's tons of movies I love, but TV shows, I don't see it.
I gotta be honest.
I mean, for you, maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think about something we reviewed. Yes, for me, the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. felt this good too. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just one of those shows. that hits all the boxes, just like this does. And because it had such a rich history, 7 seasons, like when it got to the end, you're like, how are they going to button this up where it feels good? And they somehow did.
Maybe The Office in a different way. Like, I really love The Office, but it's a sitcom. It's like not really a drama. Maybe the X-Files.
I was trying to think about something we reviewed that had
Nothing we've reviewed is as good as this. Not even freaking remotely close.
I think you're right. Hey, good tea, nice house. I will accept that Captain Shaw has a transporter accident double. Even a mirror universe Shaw would be acceptable. Just bring him back.
What if Mirror Universe Shaw is like nice?
Oh, right? because regular Shaw is
like he's so salty.
He's so salty, yeah. That's great. From Foxhound for $9.99, sold out cinemas, huge Twitter exposure, TV interviews. Picard has been a massive success. Paramount shareholders cannot ignore the popularity and buzz of this show. Rock on, Terry. You think so? You think so?
I tell you what, if they don't acknowledge this, if they don't say, oh my God, we've got to do something else, in my opinion, it'll be one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made.
I don't know how you can possibly look at this and not see it for the success it is and then go, well, hold up. We need to repeat this. Not only was this is by far the most successful new Trek. When I say new Trek, I'm referring to anything Discovery on.
2018, yeah. 2017 on.
The most successful new Trek we've gotten so far, but it's also the cheapest. It costs the least to make.
Good
Shane, it costs the least to make, and it is by far the most successful. How can anyone look at this and not be like, okay, we obviously need to reproduce this?
I mean, if you're looking for success, which they should be, and if they're looking for somebody who can make good Star Trek, I mean, you got to have, it's not just, okay, look, it's not just that we got the TNG story with Picard. So we need to just please keep into consideration that it's good, not just good because it came back. It's good because of the people who made it.
Right.
So Terry and his team, who all credit to Alex Kurtzman for allowing Terry to do this. You know, we got, as much as we're hard on Alex about some of the decisions he makes, we're credit for finding him, credit to Akiva for bringing him in, and for Alex to have him here. That's credit. Now, just guys, have him do more. You need showrunners for shows.
Yeah.
He's available. He's made himself available, right? And he wants to do more. He's told everybody that he wants to do more. Just connect to it. And what we need studio executives who say, look, we need this. We need some fans out there, you know, because I just don't know if Alex is going to be like, oh yeah, that was great, but we can still do better. Like, I don't know if he's going to have that, you know, that awareness, that self-awareness to be able to live in this moment and say, we really need to do this. Because the reality is I don't know how much people in Hollywood are connected to the zeitgeist like we are. Like, we're engaged in social media all day and all this going on. So hopefully, I still believe they wouldn't be doing these IMAX things if there wasn't some feelings happening over there. Some
okay,
really
I want to talk
super
about
positivity.
that. I want to talk about one, but 1 second.
Okay.
From Sir Larry of the D, I think. Use Genesis 2 device to reboot Shaw. Simple.
There you go.
Shaw.
That's right. We can use Genesis 2 to bring back whoever we want.
Yeah, whoever we want. And then also Christopher Mays, Picard Season 4, The Search for Shaw.
Yes, The Search for Shaw.
You know what's
That's
funny?
what they should have. That's
great. They did Wrath of Khan. Now it's time to do The Search for Shaw.
The Search for Shaw. Well done. Good job, Chris.
People were saying that the beginning of Picard Season 3 was like sort of like Wrath of Khan. Like, all right, it's not. Let's do that. Let's do Search for Shaw.
Right. And then we'll have the voyage home. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the thing about the theaters, I have been racking my brain. And by the way, I have the computer I have here is as good as you can buy as a residential non-government employee. I have ruined my credit to build the most impressive computer this side of the universe, and with it and and a gigabyte connection, I could not get tickets. I literally even had a bot trying to get it for me. I couldn't figure it out. They're all sold out instantly. So, why? What can anyone think of one reason why they would put multiple cities nationwide IMAX presentations for free of the last 2 episodes of Picard? Why? What do they have to gain from this?
Well, that is always the answer. What do they have to gain from it? Because they don't do it if there's not something to gain.
Right.
Because they're not doing it for the fans.
No.
I mean, no disrespect, but it's not like they do things for the fans, all the time. So,
No.
I mean, I guess it's possible they might, but there has to be something in it for them. So tell us, Brian, what is it?
So I'm asking you. I
thought you were setting it up for an answer.
Oh, it's funny. And your computer's out of date.
Every 10 minutes.
No, but look.
I can tell you why I think.
This was some of the theories I had. Because I was like, okay, so they're not charging for tickets, so they're not making any money. This is probably costing. We actually just recently looked into renting a theater. It's expensive. An IMAX theater is even more expensive, right?
They're not paying for that.
They're not paying?
No. IMAX is going to make a ton of money.
How?
Because people are going to come in and buy all the concessions. It's probably a deal.
They're not making that much money on that.
They're going to pack. They're going to pack. And they're going to sell every seat for every showing.
They have to be paying.
I spend $10 for a freaking soda. The last time I took my kids to the movies, all my kids, 5 and my wife, it cost $170.
I get what you're
for
saying.
Sodas, popcorn, and a candy. $170. So I'm just saying.
There's no way IMAX is just giving away free IMAX theaters so they can sell concessions.
I don't know. I mean, you think of it this way. IMAX, you don't hear about them a lot. Right. So they're getting tons of publicity from it.
An IMAX ticket's like $25-$30 almost over here. It's an expensive ticket to buy.
I'm just saying, well, they're paying for the movie. That's not just the IMAX. So I'm just saying it's one showing, one night, one city. I can see them making a partnership that wouldn't have cost them money. But so answer your own question. You set it up. Do you have a theory?
So my going theory, it's because the time is coming out too. I believe that this is going to be somehow attached to some kind of announcement. And I think they're going to use the popularity of Star Trek Picard to catapult something else. And I don't know what that is.
That makes sense.
And the reason I'm thinking that is because there's a game. If you guys notice behind me, one of the games I play I've been playing for 20 years. It's called Dota, and they have this big thing every year called the International. The International is this thing where you basically one team can make like $30 million by playing against the best of the best. It's the most expensive game, most expensive esport in the world. But they do these things, they do these events and these majors that cost them a ton of money leading up to it, just to promote it. And when they promote it, they kickstart their online microtransactions to a point where not only is the International paid for every year, but they make money. But it requires that like those free events that no one that is costing them money just to catapult them into that event every year. And so I could see that being a thing here. It's almost like Dota has the majors so they can get the big one out. Maybe they're going to use this to catapult some other announcement.
I mean, it's possible, but as far as everything that we know, it's not the announcement we want.
Right.
So, there's been and it's possible that in the last, few days or whatever, in the last week or so, that something's happening behind the scenes that we're not aware of. Something I think I can say is, we kind of had some rumor that this was going to be happening a long time ago, like this IMAX thing.
Right.
I think they were talking about this thing happening even before they realized that Picard was going to be good. And we know at that time they were like no go on a new series. So I'm not so sure the IMAX is being set up to announce something. Perhaps it wasn't a go until they realized it was successful. Now we do know that they've got this. They do have a couple of announcements. I think they're holding on to a possibility of maybe like a Janeway 7 of 9 thing. But I think that any announcement that comes out following Picard season 3 is going to be a disappointment if it's not something else happening after this show.
Right.
I don't think anything is going to get people excited.
Okay, hold on.
Unless there's more of this.
So the event is not only. So I'm going to wreck your concession theory.
Okay.
Because the event will also feature complimentary concessions and a season finale poster.
Oh, well, they must be paying something then in order to have those things. It's a marketing thing. But here's my thing about marketing. Like, they didn't take advantage of First Contact Day with appropriately. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, why not do this on First Contact Day? They're just not aware of First Contact Day somehow?
No, they are. It's just, marketing. I don't know. Maybe there's different people doing different things. I'm not sure that this is being set up as something. I mean, that was your theory to come up with, like, that it's setting up for an announcement.
I mean, that's the only theory I can think of, because I've seen it done in a similar way, the way Valve does it for their big things. But then again, Valve might have more money than Paramount, to be honest.
It doesn't make sense. Like, I can't see the obvious what's in it for them, honestly. Other than they've got some marketing budget left, and this is the event they decided to do. I don't know. The silence about Picard season 3 from executives, from Kurtzman, has been weird. Like, they're just not talking about it. Yeah,
it's deafening that no one is talking about this.
Right.
No one's tweeting
from
about
an official
it.
place.
Yeah. No one. Like, here's the deal. Previous New Trek seasons and series got all kinds of accolades, even when they didn't deserve them. When they didn't deserve it, they would get tweets and responses and interviews and all kinds of. Everyone's completely silent over Picard. Like, it's like it's not even happening to them, and it's.
Yeah. Why isn't Kurtzman coming out and being like, this is an incredible season of television? This is, I mean, initially he came, he said, what Terry's done is great, but there's not been this kind of showering of love on this series as I feel like there probably should have been. We'll see what happens after it's over. This isn't finished yet. We'll see what happens after the IMAX showings come. Maybe something's on the other end of it. But so far, everything that we've heard is that there is nothing yet. So hopefully that changes.
Yeah. So it's not. I get what you're saying, Rob. It could have been a Phantom event, and more people could have gotten it, but that's not what it is. It's open, and so it's not opening everywhere. You're right, but it is in the major cities. It's New York.
One theater in one city. Like, it's not a ton of them.
Right, but it's in Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, Orlando, Phoenix, San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, D.C. These are like major
10 cities.
Huh?
Is that 10 theaters?
I just read off. I didn't scroll down the list.
Whatever. I mean, however many there are.
But
that's.
I'm just saying these are all major cities. Like, probably the biggest of the cities in those places.
Yeah, that's where they're going to do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I can only think of it as a marketing thing, or here's the other side of it. They're just being nice.
Yeah, maybe they want to have a send off for Patrick Stewart.
For what?
I mean, you're the one who just said maybe they're being nice.
I know. I'm saying that.
So don't say that and then have me say, yeah, maybe they're doing. And then for what? So it's like.
The reason I'm saying for what is, like, why would they just do it for the fans?
I don't honestly. That's not typical of them. So I don't think they would. But you said it, so I said, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not. I wasn't getting mad. I'm just saying that. I'm the only other alternative is, they're doing a nice thing.
That's maybe it's just as simple as that. I wish there was something. Listen, the conspiracy theorist in me wants to make up something, but there's just nothing. Like, we've heard nothing about anything wrapped up to it, and I do believe we would have heard something if there was something else happening.
Yeah, and so, it's not like we haven't been asking nonstop every single source we have. Like, we're constantly on the prowl for this information. Like, it's not, we got nothing.
Yeah, but hey, that doesn't mean that there isn't something happening. It could be happening behind the scenes, and they're just keeping it really low down. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for it. That's what we want. That's why I'm wearing a Terry Trek hat and a Terry Trek shirt. Not to disrespect any other Star Trek, but because this is the Star Trek that I love right now, the stuff being made by Terry Matalas.
And speaking of, you can go to terrytrek.com. Once I get there, boom, and sign the petition. This is our petition. Go to terrytrek.com. Continue the story in the 25th century. It's already got almost 17,000 signatures. Let's get this sucker to 25,000. It'll be top of the list forever.
Yeah, definitely need to get more signatures on that thing. So if you haven't done it, please go over there. It takes 2 seconds. We'll put the link for you down below.
terrytrek.com.
We do need to take care of a little bit of business really quick here.
Sure.
So this episode is being brought to you by EKSTER wallets. And I'm sure Brian will pop his out so you can see it real quick. This is quite simply the best wallet that I've ever owned. And you've probably heard us say it a few times before. It's super efficient. It's super slim, sleek, and futuristic, made with Italian leather, space grade aluminum, and carbon fiber with built-in RFID blocking protection to protect you from wireless theft. It comes with a tracking card in case you misplace it. Check out EKSTER wallets right after this video. Description will be below. Go to shop.ekster.com/thepopcast to get 25% off your order when you use code thepopcast. Thanks again.
Yes. And they really are great. I have like 6 of them. All right. It's funny because I'm like really interested in this IMAX thing.
I mean, of course, because we're not going.
Yeah.
That's why you're super interested.
Yeah, it's nothing too. It's like I really wanted to go, and I'm bummed out that I couldn't go.
I'm tripped out that there are a lot of people not going. So the event that's happening here, I think the reason why the tickets, because there are people up in Washington and different places around the country who told me, hey, I got my tickets. Like, no problem, even early. So if I was a conspiracy theorist, here was what I would say. You could never have gotten tickets in Los Angeles.
Oh.
I don't think they were probably ever available.
They were all given out already?
I think they were probably all spoken for from the beginning. Because think about it. So Patrick Stewart's going, everybody, the cast is going to that showing, right? A bunch of people. Obviously Terry's going to be there, but so tickets must have already gone out for that way. But then I've had people also from the inside say they didn't get tickets through the website. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's a possibility.
A lot of people on Reddit got tickets. They're actually complaining that they don't want to travel all the way to this one city because it says I guess there's a disclaimer.
Is it Los Angeles?
No, it's DC.
So that's what I'm saying. So I think the other places, I think probably no big deal. Like the Patrick Stewart's not going to DC. It's happening here in LA. So I think this theater is the one that you couldn't get because I mean it's weird that it kept diverting to a different screening process. So my conspiracy theory opinion is that it was never available to the public here in Los Angeles, but probably all the other IMAXs. I could be totally wrong. It's just a guess. But
so I just checked every single one, and I clicked on the join on every single one. Every single one. This event is full. This event is full. Every single city.
It didn't say that for the LA one.
No,
it never said the event was full. It just said it didn't exist.
Out. Right. No, that's called timing out. That means too many people are trying to click on at the same time.
I don't know.
Either,
I wasn't getting the timeout. I was getting some timeouts. People were getting there. But when I was able to get through, it never actually told me that it was sold out. So.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I would love to hear everyone's going theories here because I can't figure it out. But regardless, it's I don't know. However it plays out, it seems like it's a good thing for Picard season 3. Seems like it's a good thing. I don't see a problem with it.
Oh, I can tell you what it might be good about it. So let's say they're on the fence. Okay, let's say they're on the fence with doing something else, Star Trek Legacy. You got to remember when Strange New Worlds got approved, it was Alex Kurtzman walking through Comic-Con and just being overwhelmed with with needing to do the show. It's possible that during this entire season that Kurtzman hasn't engaged or interacted with anybody who's even really watching the show other than people he works with.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe his experience going to this IMAX event will tell him, oh my God, these people really love this. Like, this is really an experience. And maybe that will motivate him to want to make more. So that's the positive I would take from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hope that's the case, man.
Yeah.
Because like we said, everyone's going to be quiet. But this is I do believe that the numbers are super high. If you look at, in fact, Joe Cronin actually did some research into this. So shout out to Joe. If you look at the trending list, Picard has trended every week, every episode. Some episodes, some weeks better than others, but for the most part, like just getting that massive spike, those are Game of Thrones numbers right there. It requires a lot of people to hit those Google trends the way Picard was. So it is definitely very popular.
That's interesting. So what, you compared it to Game of Thrones level?
Well, it's not exactly, it's not that easy. So Google has like a 0 to 100 list, and like Picard is continually hitting like the high 80s, 70s, 80s.
What does that mean?
That it's trending
in popularity towards, I mean, how do you gauge like potential viewership from that?
I have no idea. But what I do know is that episode 6 was the most popular at like 89 out of a possible.
I think
100.
Last Night will be the most next.
And more than likely, yes.
Yeah.
So Google Trends. Joe knows. Yeah, Google Trends. So yeah, it's been trending. So I'm sure Last Night's going to be off the charts, because if 6 was off the charts, this is going to probably hit the ceiling. No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, man. We just need people to come, hit the petition, keep being vocal about it, and we got to get it out there. We got to somehow make sure everyone is fully aware this is what we want. And no offense to anybody else's ideas, you can have multiple things, but like clearly this is being enjoyed by the majority. And I'm not just saying majority of legacy fans, but like a lot of people, even new Trek people that just started watching Discovery are loving this. So this is an all around, this is a win. This is a win for Paramount. They just got to realize that somehow. Hopefully.
Well said.
All right. What's next, brother?
I have no idea. I was not prepared for any other news today because, and we've already been going for almost 3 hours. If there's any other hot topics you think we should talk about,
I got some stuff.
I know you got the HBO thing,
Harry Potter series, right?
Yep, and I think, oh man, I think there's some other. There's probably some other news. I'll let you go ahead and pick one that you want to do.
Okay.
And then in the member section, we'll be talking about probably a little more Picard stuff. And what else are we talking about in there?
I got something to talk about in there too.
Okay.
All right, let me pull my notes up. Okay.
Yeah, there was some interesting stuff that actually came out. Like, I mean, there's tons of stuff you can talk about. There's, Rings of Power. People are, they're backtracking on, they understand now why people might be upset about, have criticisms of the show. You've got, Lucasfilm boss reportedly never wanted Kevin Feige to make a Star Wars film. Just really weird, like, stuff.
Okay, so we got one more Picard story, and then we're gonna go to the member section. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to get to the member section, it's pretty simple. There's a link in the description. Also, you can do nothing, and if you want to join us in the member section, it's like a cup of coffee, and we get to be a little more personal with everyone. Explain a little more stuff we don't really want everyone to hear all the time, but. Before we do, we got one more story we want to share with you because this was actually very interesting. And it involves the streaming charts and Picard. Star Trek Picard makes streaming chart debut. Ted Lasso returns as well. Okay, so Star Trek Picard made its first ever appearance in the rankings, finishing 9th among original series with 310 million minutes of viewing as it reached the midpoint of its 3rd season. Picard is the second Paramount Plus original series to make the rankings, following 1923 2 weeks earlier. So 1920, that's really important because 1923 is a Yellowstone thing.
And it's very popular.
Very, very, very popular. NCIS, which streams on both Paramount and Netflix. I feel like that's cheating, by the way, if you're streaming on 2 different platforms. Like, come on, bro.
More power to you, I guess.
Ted Lasso, for just so you guys can get some clarity here. Ted Lasso also put Apple TV back in the rankings with its premiere of its 3rd season, racking up 539 million minutes of watch time. That is incredible. Okay, so the number 1 spot, Shadow and Bone, at 1.14 billion. Here's the rankings.
The hell is that show?
Don't know. Never seen it.
I gotta look. It's the most popular show.
Yeah, it's called Shadow and Bone. Well, it says this doesn't say this. It says the most popular one is something called You on Netflix. I never see that either.
Oh, You I've actually heard of, but not this one.
All right, so out of the original series, You is 1.2 billion. Shadow and Bone, which okay, I have to look that up now. Damn it!
I'm looking it up right now. It's a fantasy show, actually.
Really?
Dark forces conspire against orphan mapmaker Alina Starkov when she unleashes an extraordinary power that could change the fate of her war-torn world.
It has 2 seasons. How have I never heard of this?
Because it's like a Netflix kid show, I think. I mean, I don't even know if it's a kid show, but
All right, anyways,
it looks like a very young audience, so it's probably something that.
So the Mandalorian at 1.12 billion. I assume that's going to be falling off pretty soon. Outer Banks, because remember, this is these numbers are not up to date. This is not up until last night. This is up until like episode 3.
Okay.
So this was when Mandalorian started, and Picard was in his 3rd or 4th episode.
So are these guys actually sharing their watch hours?
Apparently, I don't really know it. I don't know
because everybody seems to be very tight-lipped about it.
So what I do know is this: is that Picard has finally cracked the top 10, and I believe that these numbers, I do believe these numbers will be going up over the next couple weeks as these numbers are updated, because it's only gotten more popular since the 3rd episode. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
It must be, I would think. So when did this come out? After the 3rd episode?
March 6th to the 12th.
Oh my gosh, that was a month ago.
Right. When it first came out.
The number should be double that, hopefully.
Right. So, yeah. So when this gets updated, and we're going to find out, we're very soon. Like, we're on the 13th, so we should find out this week. Or early next week. When this gets updated, guys, prepare to see that. I want to see that. I want to see Picard rise up the charts here, boys.
Well, yeah, and I mean, listen, if it's getting more views than any other Star Trek show, I just don't know why the hell they wouldn't give us more. They wouldn't do more, unless their thinking is that the only reason that it's good is because we've got Picard and the TNG crew back again. I mean, that's a wonderful part of them being there, but the show's not just good because they're there. You know, they're just creating good Star Trek.
So. Kenneth says The Mandalorian includes all seasons. Oh, I see. So
this does say Star Trek Picard.
Yeah.
It doesn't say season 3.
Right. So, I mean, but yeah, no one's watching that 2 seasons. So.
I know, but maybe I don't know where they get these numbers from. I didn't see the top of it.
Someone said that Nielsen's sort of questionable, but you know what? We will look more into this. I mean, a Hollywood Reporter's reporting it. I've never seen anything horrible at Hollywood Reporter. So, we'll look more into it. it's very hard to get the numbers. Everyone's super tight-lipped. The fact that Nielsen even has numbers alone. Although I remember them saying that like Velma was super popular because it was like trending a lot, but it was only trending because it was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, we used to be able to know whether a show was successful or not based on it getting renewed, but that's just not the way streaming works anymore. And so they don't have to share numbers with us. A show may not get renewed, even if it's, doing pretty well. Box office numbers is all we can really trust anymore because they're just not giving us the information.
All right. Well, we'll maybe these numbers are all we have to go on. So, when we get the updated numbers, we'll report back.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's moving up, and hopefully everybody's saying, look, we got to do more of this. We got to do more of this, and hopefully they recognize that the guy who's making it happen is the answer.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know what? I'm looking at like Nielsen's like streaming. Like, how do you even come up with it? That's what I want to know. How do you come up with this information?
I'm not sure how Nielsen's.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to be clued into streaming, but I don't know. Nielsen used to be connected to. I don't know what they were connected to. How they set boxes. I don't know.
This is their actual website. Yeah, it only shows it up till March. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Oh, Joe Cronin for $5 says episode 6, the highest rated episode yet, and man, wait until 9 and 10 permeate. Yep, I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah, I gotta
Thanks,
think
Joe.
that Picard cracking the list is big news, considering there's no other Paramount Plus show on here. You know what I mean?
1927 wasn't on there?
No, yeah, it was on there months ago.
Oh, I see.
This is the second one to crack the list.
It's a big deal. Yeah. I mean, if the numbers are right, that's big deal.
Yeah. All right, guys. That said, we are going to the members section. When we get over there, we get nude. I'm sorry, not nude. I didn't mean nude. I might get nude. Warning. I might get nude. If you don't want to come, I get it. I understand.
He's taken off his shirt before. I will say that.
But coming over to the members section, it's great. If you don't want to come to the members section, no problemo. We love you regardless. We will be back on Monday for Raw Rant at 2:00 with Trip Tucker and Malcolm Reed from Enterprise, or the Shut Up Pod guys.
That's right.
And so thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. You guys are awesome. And again, we're going to the member section. I hope you can come over, but if you can't,